Hey, welcome back to another episode of Ramen Podcast. I'm your host Juan, and as always, my co-host here with me. Hey, Trip.
Hey, bud.
How's it going, man?
It's so good.
Hey, bro.
I've missed you.
Yeah, you reaching over to something. We gotta.
What am I reaching to?
We got some new software in the house. Hardware.
Yeah, we're goofing with our hardware, and we're trying to make us the best boys that we could be. So we've been having some ish. Oh, this week we're doing a wrap up.
By the way, yeah.
I guess we should start out with that. We're doing a wrap up of summer 2019's anime that we watched. Mm-hmm. So not everything, but just like some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyways, we just got a new generation of. I actually don't know what it is. Is it a mixer?
I don't know if it's a mixer.
We don't know. We just got a new thing. We got a new toy that we've been using.
So our microphones are. By the way, Trip and I are by no means like tech savvy when it comes to like music instruments.
I'm super savvy with that world.
We don't know anything about it.
No, never.
So our mics are they're not USB, they're XLRs, and they go into this little box that we have, and that little box is connected to my laptop.
We got a new box. Yeah, it's like Silicon Valley season 3. We got a new box.
We don't know what the proper name for it is, but our last one has been giving us issues for a few months now.
And we got a new one, and now we're good boys.
We leveled up, if you will.
I won't.
We have.
I regret this.
It looks good. It sounds good.
Anyways, that's probably the biggest thing with the podcast.
Yeah.
My life, nothing. Just fucking Loserville City over here.
Nice.
I've been playing Borderlands 3. That's it. It's fun. The end.
Nice.
Your turn.
It's been a hectic week.
Okay. Well, let's get into the
the biggest thing that happened this week was my dog. While I was out trying to lift and while Sierra was trying to get some sleep because she was really tired and had work the next day, she got into my art supplies.
Oh.
So I'd been doing a lot of drawing lately, right, because of the Inktober. So I just have my markers in the living room. And she's been on this kind of like kick of being really good, and then she'll fuck up really bad.
Oh, no.
And then we have to be like more on top of her to keep an eye on her.
Yeah.
So we've been kind of like gauging it, and we've kind of decided like, okay, she's doing better. We don't have to be as like on top of her, you know? So we decided to leave her out and not lock her in the kennel before it was time for her to sleep. So then I get a text from Sierra while I'm like coming back from a drive, and it's like, hey, your dog ate all of your art supplies.
Your dog.
Our dog. And the worst part was like I have like extra X-Acto blades for my X-Acto knife. And not like a little bit of extra. Like I have a pack of like 100, so a lot. And she chewed them up. So Sierra was there like counting how many blades there were, and I've had the pack for a long time. It was cheaper to buy a pack of 100 than to buy like 3 extra blades.
Yeah.
Right? So
one of those things.
Yeah. So I've had that pack for
years,
maybe like 4 years now. And I was trying to think. At one point, Sierra counted, and she was short like 40 blades, and I was like, shit, she might have swallowed 40 blades, right? And then she found some extra ones, and then she was short like 12. And I was thinking about like I probably used like 10-ish, you know. Maybe, you know. So we were worried about that. We get home, and then the bigger worry is now we're cleaning this mess, and we also see that she got into like some Advil liquid gel, some icy hot, and it turns out those are toxic to dogs. Then we had to go to like the emergency vet at night, you know, pay a shit ton of money, and then be like, they're telling us like, well, what did she eat? We told her what she ate, and then they go, okay, well, we have to induce vomit. Did she eat anything sharp? And we go, maybe. And so then they have to do x-rays on her. And then luckily she didn't eat any of the blades, which is really good.
Thank God. Yeah. Oh my God.
That would have been so bad.
Yeah. Oh man.
So they induced vomit, and then they filled her full of like charcoal to like to suck in any stuff that's left over.
Yep.
And then she just kind of felt shitty for a bit. And you know, we had to give her medicine, and she's doing better. She had a kind of rough go for the first couple days. And it was really, you know, draining on me and Sierra because, like, you know, Sierra's trying to go to bed because she has work at like 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. And I was like, I'm just trying to lift and I can't because I got to clean up this fucking mess. And it was like, it was weird because like I was mad and then like upset, and then I felt bad for her all at the same time. And I'm like, why are you so dumb? Why would you eat my blades, right? And then I go, oh, you're just a dumb dog. You don't know.
Yeah,
And then I go, oh, I feel bad for you because you're sick. But God, I'm so mad at you because you're so fucking dumb and you ate all this fucking shit.
Animals are a huge pain in the ass, dude.
So that was that's been the biggest thing that's happened in like the last week and in my life essentially. Yeah, I mean, Sierra had a birthday dinner yesterday. We had tamales at her dad's house. Sierra also came at me really hard today and was like, hey, listened to the podcast last week and you can even wish your wife a happy birthday. And I was like, yep, my bad.
We already told her that.
Yeah, but she brought it up super hard.
Yeah, well, we already told her that we fucking suck and whatnot. Sierra, if you're listening to this, but you are, come on, man.
Come on, man.
Juan sucks. We know it. You married that. You knew it. Come on.
Also, I think this last week we went to dinner for Sierra's birthday, right?
Yep.
And we went to Hula's, which is fun. And then we went to Chili's to get margs because they're super underrated.
Thought we already...
I don't think we did.
Was that Tuesday?
That was last Tuesday.
Whoa. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the day after.
Yeah,
Monday.
it's true. It was. Yeah, we did that.
And we got a little tipsy, and then Kyle was there, and he gave us our epilogues for our Pathfinder characters, and then the epilogue for the entire story. Mm-hmm. It was a good time. I really enjoyed myself. And then the waitress hits us with a huge fucking bomb.
I felt so bad for her.
Dude, we're just
as
like...
us fucking nerds are just...
nerding out.
Getting a little bit of fun.
Having
in
a good
system,
time. And she comes up to us and she goes, hey, how you guys all doing? And we're like, good. How are you?
Oh, by the way, our waitress at this point was fucking rad.
Yeah.
She was a cool ass waitress.
Yeah, she was cracking jokes, you know?
Yeah.
She was like acknowledging our birthdays and being like really like nice person.
She was a hella good waitress.
And then she comes up to us,
She
she's like,
is a hella good waitress.
yeah, she just had a bad day. But anyways, she asked how we're doing. We're like, good. And then someone asked, how are you doing? And she goes, you know, my boyfriend of like 8 years today told me that he doesn't love me
I think
anymore.
it was 3 days ago.
Was it?
Yeah.
I thought it was that day.
Nah,
but anyways,
I think it was 3 days.
He's like, yeah, he told me he doesn't love me anymore. And she's like, you know, it's kind of rough because, you know, I thought like he was like the one and I thought we were doing really good. And I was like, yeah. And we're all just sitting there like, whoa, that's rough.
I wanted to invite her to sit down with us so badly, but I'm like, you're working a shift and I'm not going to get you fired while you're this depressed.
What's also pretty bad is like, then she just kind of stood there and we're like, it made us feel like uncomfortable.
Fucking
and then
yikes.
She goes, I'm sorry about that. She goes, I just kind of want to hang out with you guys. And we're like, yeah, I bet. But you're working. So
Yeah.
can't get another drink. You know?
Yeah, it was a yikes to her, man.
Good time though. Anyways, happy late birthday, Sierra.
Or not.
Or not.
I'm not.
I'm not.
You got it from me.
Yeah.
That's it. One and done, baby.
I think also, what else did I do? I think I went to the movies. I watched The Joker.
Oh, yeah. You saw Joker now.
Yeah. It's okay.
Okay.
It was like,
It's very hyped up, and it looked like it was going to be all right. And I feel like it's going to be exactly what I thought it was going to be.
It's Taxi Driver. You ever see Taxi Driver?
Yeah, it's Taxi Driver.
But like modern with...
But like 30 to 40. I don't remember when Taxi Driver was. Was that like 68 or was that more like 75?
It was like in the 70s.
I mean, like late 60s is pretty much the 70s.
Yeah.
But
It's an older movie.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not saying it was like a bad time. I was like, oh, cool. That's interesting. I was like, they could remove all the, in air quotes, like comic book stuff, and it could still just be like a good movie, you know?
And that's, I think, why it's doing so well and why people are so excited about it and whatnot is just because it could be its own thing.
Yeah. A lot of people are also saying like, some people are saying that like, oh, this is revolutionizing what like comic book movies are. I'm like, I don't know.
Who the fuck is saying that shit?
I don't know. People online were like, yeah, it's like, you know.
People online could eat a dick, man. Like, Dark Knight Rises was the one where people were like, oh shit, now I get it.
Yeah.
Because like, or
The Dark Knight Returns.
whatever the second one was.
That's the Dark Knight. The Dark Knight Rises. Dark Knight Returns. I don't know.
Whatever.
The one with Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one with Joker.
Yeah.
People were saying that's revolutionary because it's this whole new dark spin on it, but it's done in such like a gritty, real way.
Yeah.
And beforehand, they had done slapstick, they had done like fantastical, they had done blockbuster, but this was a different thing. And then I feel like everything from then on has been like,
Got a lot better.
Well, they're trying new things. And it's gotten better in different ways to where like Iron Man, people were like, oh man, it's starting to revolutionize, doing a whole different thing. And then finally we get up to the point that we're at now where it was a revolutionary thing that the Avengers all came together and it had this story arc that needed all these different movies in order to like really impact you.
It was like 20 plus movies, right? To make it all come together. One thing, this huge thing. Yeah. This one's like, nah. Besides them mentioning like, we're in Gotham, you know, and then going like, hey, that's Thomas Wayne from, you know, the Waynes. And then I think we see Bruce Wayne. And at the very end, you like see like the quintessential, you know, fucking the Batman origin story, right? And it's like, cool. This wasn't a comic book movie though. Like it just felt like
it was just a movie.
It was like Taxi Driver.
Yeah, it was just Taxi Driver, but made today.
And I'm sorry if you get upset with my opinion. That's just my opinion. That's how I felt about it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
No, I'm not saying you. I'm just saying the listeners, because I know you don't give a fuck.
Yeah. No, but
because some people are really going to be like, this is like the best thing ever, and they're going to love it,
which is fine.
It's fine.
I will say, I like a lot of shit, so fuck it.
I will say though, best part of it, hands down, was for sure like Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh, dude,
you know, like acting and portrayal, so good. He's such a good actor.
I mean, just from the trailers, you could tell like he put everything into it.
Yeah,
not as good as her though.
Not as good as her.
Okay, her was a really good.
I like her a lot.
I love it. I think that
like when he's playing the VR game. Yeah, and the little guy shows up and starts cussing him out.
Hey man, what the fuck are you doing, man? That little oh, come on, dude.
Yeah, I'll show you the way. Yeah, that was such a good.
Come follow me.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
So stupid. I love it. Just the whole world building was good in that. Anyways, well, that's good that you had a good time with it. Yeah, wasn't revolutionary though.
No.
Bummer.
Besides that, man, I've just been finishing up with the animes I was supposed to watch this week.
Yeah,
and then I kind of got to start to watch some stuff for next week. But that's it, man. What's up with you besides Borderlands?
I added some new anime shit to my playlist, my anime playlist. I had like 30 to 40 songs, can't remember. Oh, nice. So I'm pretty stoked about that personally. Because what else is my life, right? And I don't think I've done like anything. I've hung out, I've watched some TV, I've had some lazy days lately, and it has been nice. Nothing special to report back on, though.
Dude, fucking dope. If you want to keep it pushing, we can go straight into the news, because we can't do what's good, right?
That's what we're doing right now.
But, like, what animes did you watch besides...
Oh, I'm glad that you asked. I'm still watching March Comes Like a Lion.
What episode are you
on? 8.
Oh, okay, cool. I'm still ahead of you then.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not watching it very avidly. Let's see. I'm watching all of the shows for next season. Duh. I watched another episode of Non Biori. It was nice. It was a nice little fun time. And so much fucking anime for next season. So much. Too much. Maybe. Some would say. Yeah, I haven't been doing anything.
I haven't watched anything. Like, I can't add to it because I've literally not watched real anime.
Yeah.
Started watching Candyman, the movie.
Oh, yeah?
Before I came over to Cierra. It's pretty bad. I mean, it's not bad. It's just old, you know?
Yeah. I mean, that's an issue with so many things. Like, oh, man, here's where I'd talk about.
You gonna get sad on me?
No. Here's where I talk about The Exorcist, which is coveted as one of the best horror movies ever made. First time I saw it, I was like, wow, I hate this.
Yeah.
I fucking hate it. It's so dumb.
Well, I was watching Candyman. I was like, and I remember like when I was younger, because it came out when I was like a kid or whatever. Or at least remember my parents like renting it from Blockbuster when I was a kid, and like, you can't watch this. I remember the gist of it was it's essentially like Bloody Mary. You know, you say the name over and over, the thing appears, and yada yada yada.
Yeah, the Bye Bye Man.
Yeah, the Bye Bye Man. Don't think it, don't say it. Don't think it, don't say it. That was by the way, still a really good start to a movie. Okay, the guy just starts coming in really hot, killing his neighbors. That was pretty fucking cool. Anime of the year.
Still wins it. Oh man. Sorry, we're not going to get to it this season because I don't have any opinions on it, but I already have a best mom for next season. So, I'm working on them best moms.
Okay. Anyways, so the issue with this is like I'm watching it and there's just kind of like, oh, it's just old cinema where the acting is kind of cheesy and the audio for some reason is really quiet, and then the score comes in, it's like through the fucking roof, you know?
I think that's just like a modern TV thing.
The best part, I was like, the score is really loud, and they're gonna go to like this abandoned apartment, abandoned apartment where there was a murder, and it's like the main character and her friend. They're driving, and the score is all the way through the roof, and then she's like, her friend's like, maybe we shouldn't do this, and like they pull over. He's like, yeah, well maybe we should blah blah. And then they start arguing, and the score goes really quiet, right? And they're talking about it, and she convinces her like, we're still gonna go. She goes, good, and then she keeps driving, and the score just comes back in super loud, and I go, oh man, it'd be really funny if they pulled over again and the score just comes down again.
It's just whiplash.
Yeah, and then they go, hey, do you think we need gas or something? It's like, no, I think we're good. Okay, and then they go again and the score comes back up. It's just like really corny. But before I left to come here, the movie got to like a good point where like the Bye Bye Man is kind of like Bye Bye Man. The Candy Man is kind of like he's good. Like, I think he's like possessing the main character to do murders that she doesn't know about.
Oh, been there, man.
But I was like, oh, it's cool. I didn't know this is where the movie went. I still got like 30 minutes of it left. So I'm going to check that out. Also, update, probably lost fantasy football this week. Chargers also lost this week. It's been a bad week for quantum football. So
for those of you that don't really know what fantasy football is, because you're a goddamn weeb like me.
Do you know how fantasy football works?
Yeah.
Okay.
You choose players that do good or bad or sometimes don't play it all that week, and it's random, and you have no actual choice. Mm-hmm. Things just happen. Mm-hmm. No skill required.
Oh my god, it's so fucking true. Essentially what it is like, you draft these players from teams, and then you get rewarded if they do well, and you get punished if they do bad.
You get to let random chance decide if you're happy or bummed out that week.
The best part of it is, I think, is so funny that people really honestly think that there's actual like talent and skill that goes into this. It's all bullshit, because there's there's people on like the NFL Network and like on fucking Yahoo and was it Sports Center, who like they'll have hour-long segments in their careers that talk about not sports analysts, because they're sports analysts, right? They'll analyze the actual game. Yeah. They analyze fantasy football, like it's like they're sports analysts for fantasy football, and they'll go up and they'll give advice and their takes, and they go, well, this player just got married, so maybe that'll make him feel better. So, or they go, this character, this player just had a baby, so his mind won't be in the game.
It's just the gossip.
It's literally just gossip. It's sport gossip, because the best part is because they'll say this stuff, and they go. Start Austin Eckler. He's gonna have an amazing game no matter what. Fucking, you gotta start him. And they go, Will Fuller, don't start him. There's no way he's gonna do anything this week. He's gonna do trash. And then Austin Eckler does trash. Will Fuller does great. And the next week they go, I'm sorry. I tried my best. And then they go, and then they do the same shit. And it's so funny because these guys are so fucking cocky about their opinions, and they're all bullshit. And
literally any random guy that could talk well
could get on that
show, and he can make so much fucking money.
It's such bullshit. I'm the commissioner for my league, and then you know Matt, right?
I'm aware of him.
You're aware of his existence. Matt hit me up because so every week after Monday, which is the last game of the week, right? There's a thing called a waiver wire, and you get an order. Like, say there's 10 of us, you get a waiver wire priorities, like 1 through 10, right? So when you want to add new players, you go to add, and then you put in a waiver wire for them, like a waiver for them. And depending on what your priority is, say I want that same player you want. If my waiver number is higher, then I get him before you, right? And then my number will then go down, right? So traditionally, the way it works is whoever has like the worst ranked team, whoever's in 10th place, they get the first waiver wire priority, and whoever's in first gets the 10th. And I never really liked that, since in this year as commissioner, it's different. So it works where like everybody's given a priority, right? And then depending on when you use it, then you get dropped to the bottom, and then you just work your way up, right? So I could have the number one priority, hold on to it for like 5 weeks, and then pick up somebody I want, and then I'll go down, and then I have to work my way back up. So Matt didn't know about that, and he was upset because he was doing poorly. So he thought that he always had an earlier pick for the waiver wire, and he's just like, so this week he needed a specific player, but his priority was so low, he didn't get it. And he started bitching and complaining to me. And he goes, why are we doing it like this? It's not fair. And I go like, I think it's pretty fair. Like, you just need to be more careful with like when you decide to pick people off the waiver, And he goes like, I was like, I don't think it's fair I don't think it's the best to reward people who are in last place and then punish people who are in first place. Cause like, say someone in first place is doing really good, and they need to pick someone up, and they've been holding onto the waiver, but then he goes, sorry man, you're in first place. You don't get to pick up anybody at all. Right? Like, So if this player just holds onto their waiver and eventually uses it, it's like, then he's at the bottom just like you are. And if he doesn't use it, it just skips him. If he doesn't make any claims, he keeps the number and it just goes to you.
Sure.
And so him and I had a huge argument. And then I tried to explain to him, like, very, like, patiently, you know, like, this is why it's like this, blah, blah. And he's being very mature. And then he does a thing where he starts just posting a bunch of, like, memes that he's making about how unfair the waiver wire is. And I go, look, man, I've explained it to you. You can either be cool with it and, like, get over it, or you can just keep posting shitty memes. And he's like, okay. So he just keeps posting shitty memes for, like, the next couple hours. I was like, cool, whatever. It's fine. His team's like in like 8th place. And I was talking to my other friend. I was like, yeah, I mean, it's just an excuse for him to find any reason as to be why his team's losing. It's like, dude, just who gives a fuck? You lost $50 this year, get over it. Next year you lose $50 again because we're not going to win. Because I'm not going to win. That's it. That's the drama of my life.
That's me just rolling. For those of you that aren't Juan, that whole story, I was just rolling my eyes and shaking my head.
Yeah, he's so happy.
At all the stupid shit.
It's all bullshit.
Like, who gets mad about that? It's like a random thing, and you're like, oh, here's a little bit of strategy to introduce to it.
Kinda,
if you feel like, it matters. And then he's like, it's not working the way I want it to work. But it's like, dude, no. Like,
get over it.
It's just a random chance thing, and this just makes it feel like you have some agency over it. But realistically, you don't. Also, you'll get to do it eventually. Yeah. What are you whining about? Yeah. You'll lose this week, but you'll win next week. Fuck you.
The best bit was that he was just like, you know what? I wish we could have been like, you know, told about this change. It's like, yeah, you could have told me 6 weeks ago before the thing started, you know? He's like, it's kind of late to be halfway in the season, change the thing just because you don't like the way it works. He's just like, you know, well, you know, we didn't. Like, I'm like, okay. I go, the only thing that hasn't been set before week 1 was the day we draft and like the deadline for trades. It's like, besides that, everything's been set up. So anybody at any point could have said anything. You waited 6 weeks to complain about this. It's a little too late. Next year, when someone else is in charge, they can change it to however they want. It's like, but them's the breaks. Like, and then he kind of got over it. And I think he's cool about it now. But I was like, what a shitty way to spend 2 hours arguing with somebody about absolutely nothing. Cause like it's over fucking Facebook, you know, texting each other. I'm like, oh, God, what a waste. I'm literally like, I just really want to run these errands I have to do. Like I have to take the dog out. But I'm just like, I gotta fucking text this fucking idiot back. So yeah, that's it. That's the drama.
I'm so happy that I don't have any like family or friendship drama. Like I've got like 2 friends and you guys
and they
are
hate
doing
each other.
Great.
Yeah. No. And me and Kyle hate each other. So
it's you and Sierra.
We're your only friends?
No, I'm kidding. You're not my friend. Remember? I'm Sierra's friend. You're my hobby homie.
That's true. Yeah. We're not friends. That's a real bummer, man. I really like being your friend.
It was a good run, but I mean, you got married and look what happened.
That's funny. Ryan did text me yesterday and he goes, hey man, are you watching the Chargers game? And I go, like, no, I'm DVRing it. I'm at dinner. That's here. You know.
Yeah.
And I go, why? What's going on? Like, is something crazy happening? He goes, no, I just wanted to see if you wanted to, you know, hang on and watch it together. And I go,
oh, my friend.
I go, oh, sorry, man. He goes, but I understand. Like, you're married now. And I go, yeah, like, kind of. He goes, it's cool, man. It's cool. Well, see you when I see you. I was like, oh, Ryan, don't be like this. It's okay. Marriage is great. I really like it.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, my friends don't like it, but
why not? Literally nothing has changed.
I'm a different person now.
No, man. You're not.
Yeah, I'm different.
Nah.
We're not friends anymore.
Yeah, that was your choice.
I shouldn't have got married. All right, man. Do you want to get into the news? Or?
Nope. All right. So this news for this week, starting off with what I think is a pretty fucking wild thing, and you might too, as an animator.
Okay.
So the author of BEASTARS, which is a show that's out this season, discovered 2 days ago, so like 5 days as of the airing of this, that her anime adaptation is only available on Japanese Netflix, and she is not happy about it. So she knew it was being made, had been talking, like tweeting out to people like, I'm so excited.
Go watch it.
Because people love this manga, and this is just going to give more people around the world like a way to access something that I put so much effort and stuff into. And
this is the manga.
You're going to like it. Yeah, this is the manga. So she's so excited about it, and people love her manga, and she's like, you're going to fucking love the anime. It's going to be so good. We're working so hard on making everything top tier for you, and it's going to be great. You know, she's involved, but she's not like involved, right? And then she finds out that it's only available on Japanese Netflix.
So she lost her shit.
She's so fucking pissed.
Which is this one? Is this one about the animals that like dress up as people and stuff?
Yeah, but there's another show like that, which we'll talk about
which
next
is this
week.
season. Yeah. No, but this is the one where like I have the image of like a wolf with like big old fang or whatever. Right? He's
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there are only a couple of shows that have done what BEASTARS did, but BEASTARS took it to another level as far as the animating and stuff goes. For example, Land of the Lustrous was recorded first and then animated over that, which isn't consistent all the time with anime. They try to be, but it's not usually how it goes. And Land of the Lustrous is one of the most recent shows that did that, and I feel like in certain ways it shows they were able to make things look better in that than in other anime, possibly because of that. But BEASTARS took it to another level. It's fully acted out. They have people doing like theater stage play.
Cool.
So
that's how old like Disney stuff
shit,
was
yeah.
made. Yeah, they would act like they would shoot live reference of it.
Alice in Wonderland.
They would have actors and stuff, and then they would just they would animate it, stylize it. But
yeah,
that's awesome.
So
it's a lot of work.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
So anyways,
and we can't watch it.
Makes me even more hyped and more disappointed.
Yeah.
That we're not going to be reviewing it next week because there's no way for us to watch it legally. And as you know,
yeah, my eyes get all big. Like,
yeah.
You can just change your IP, right? Like,
I mean, we could do some stuff, but for the sake of our people, we will watch it the way that you guys watch it.
Yeah, to be
assuming
fair.
You're like, a good
Christian person.
I was going to say good Christian, but I'm like, no, we don't need religious affiliation, even if it's just a joke.
Oh, what? We're not a Christian podcast?
Not right
I'm fucking
now.
out. I'm out.
Wait, what?
I thought that's what we were doing. This was the Lord, right?
Oh, dude, I just watched the newest episode, the season finale of Righteous Gemstones.
Oh, nice.
It was really good.
Oh, so you do like religion.
All I'm saying is I had a fun ass time with it, dog. The younger one started feeling like he's Jesus.
Oh my God, really?
But he also feels like maybe he's Satan.
Is Adam Devine's character. Nice.
So he's like, I hear voices and, they tell me some stuff sometimes. And
he might be schizophrenic.
That was his last character arc, is he decided that he was more Jesus than Satan, but he's probably neither.
That's super cool that she's this
back
creator
to BEASTARS.
has spoken out about her dissatisfaction with this.
She was blown away. She's like, I just found out it's only on Japanese Netflix. That is crazy.
Yeah, we agree.
So weird news. In not weird news and super hype stoked news, but possibly Netflix only news again, which is fine because it worked out last time. Anyways, Masaaki Yuasa has announced that his upcoming anime series Japan Sinks is going to be released in 2020. You remember him?
No. Is this hold on. This isn't Devilman guy.
Yeah, it is.
Fuck. What's his name?
Masaaki Yuasa.
Damn, I've got to remember that one. I like that guy.
Yeah.
Japan Sinks. That's the name of it?
Japan Sinks. Yeah. Yeah, I'm super excited about it. So it's coming to Netflix. Hopefully it does the same thing the Devilman does and just blows everyone away. But I mean, it's I'm excited about it. They didn't show a trailer or anything, but there's a little image of this girl and boy holding hands as like the city's kind of falling apart around them.
Nice.
Looks pretty cool.
Cool.
So I'm excited about that. Other release news. Dorohedoro is going to be airing January 12th, 2020. So get excited about that.
I'm
a lot of people... Yeah, I know. You don't know anything about it. It's fine. I don't really know either. But a lot of people are excited about it, but also hesitant because it looks like it might be like fully 3D animated and people aren't 100% on board with that, which I understand. Sometimes it makes things gross and ugly and you have to wait for the whole show to come out to appreciate it, Land of the Lustrous. But yeah, who knows? Maybe it'll do a high score girl and it'll just be fine. Yeah.
Yeah. I was actually thinking about that show the other day.
Yeah?
I have
about the second season that you haven't seen?
It's like 4 episodes, dog. It's not even the second season. Go fuck yourself, Netflix. Those are OVAs. You should just... I don't fucking care. This is fucking bullshit.
Well, the second season's,
gonna come out
now.
Is it
it's
out?
Airing.
No, but we don't get to watch it? Fuck them. God, I hate them so much. Go ahead.
My Hero Academia Season 4, Episode 4 is going to be delayed a week and will air November 9th.
Okay.
All right. Also, when the first episode was premiering, it was delayed due to a typhoon, and people were losing their goddamn minds. They're like, where the fuck is it? You know, people that are trying to watch it on Crunchyroll the second that it comes out. So like 10 people, they were losing their minds. And then it aired like 2 hours later. So
yeah, just wait a week.
Calm down, guys.
Calm down,
yeah. We got a week on this one. It'll be fine. Food Wars, the fourth plate, is listed to be 25 episodes long.
Nice. 2 cour.
Hell yeah. And Promare is going to return to U.S. theaters December 8th for one night through Fathom Events.
Check it out.
So great movie. Highly recommend you guys go see it December 8th. Mark your calendars. Speaking of 2 cour, No Guns Life is going to be 2 cour.
Okay.
And that's a little bit of news there. Finally, Weathering with You is going to come to theaters on January 17th, 2020.
Okay.
I believe U.S. theaters.
Okay, I don't know.
Because it's already aired in Japan.
Okay. I don't know if this came out. I just saw it the other day.
You saw Weathering with You?
No, I saw.
You son of a bitch.
I just saw the trailer for the second My Hero Academia movie. Have you seen this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, did you ever talk about this?
No.
Okay, so the second trailer for My Hero Academia, the second movie's coming out. I don't know what it's called. It was pretty cool. I mean, obviously, it's not gonna. It's gonna be its original thing. The one thing I do have that I'm excited for this movie is that it looks like there is the entire cast is there. Like
finally,
all the students are there.
Finally, because last time we didn't get like 3 characters.
Yeah,
which is actually a few, but whatever. Yeah, I mean, you know,
it is what it is.
Hey, you see the first episode yet?
No.
Did you? Here's the guys. I'm just gonna give you a little preview because last week, mentioned the first episode's gonna be a recap episode. Spoilers, it is, but also spoilers. It's good.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
you know, I've heard about this. I think Sierra's brother told me about it. It's like there's like
a news reporter. We'll get into it next week.
Yeah, and so then he like kind of we'll talk about it next week. Yeah,
but yeah, I think it's important that people that we're going to skip it shouldn't skip it, and you could go ahead and watch it before our next week's episode. So
cool.
You're welcome.
Okay,
that's news.
Cool.
Do you want more?
No.
Okay.
Do you have more?
No.
Okay.
Well, I did, but then I deleted it.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I had 2 more pieces of news
You're
earlier.
a fucking liar.
I absolutely did.
Let's hear it. I don't believe you.
No, it was just release dates and episode listings for other things.
Fucking liar. Okay.
All right.
So this week's topic is our
2019 Summer Anime Wrap Up.
So this is the shows that we stuck with and watched all the way through.
Yeah. So I thought that it was important that we start out with season 2 of something because I didn't watch any season 2s, but you watched Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? Season 2 by JC Staff. They've done Food Wars, One Punch Man, second season, and Toradora. I figure like those are all a bunch of different genres, mixed feelings kinds of shows, which is exactly where this show lines up with the general opinion. And I feel like yours probably reflects that, you know?
Trip's holding his fingers together and like pointing them at me.
You know.
So the second season of Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon?
Danmachi, yeah.
Yeah. That's so much easier to say.
It really is.
I've been waiting for a while. I remember when I watched originally the first season.
You were like, season 2 when?
Yeah, exactly.
Season 2 when?
So when I watched the first season, it had already been completely aired.
Yeah.
And it was actually dubbed. So I watched it all dubbed. And then I remember going back and watching it subbed and being like, okay, cool. I'm used to it.
I could do it both ways.
I'm ready for whenever it comes out. And then they announced that they were doing a movie. And then they also announced that they were doing a second season, but it was a spin-off season. Yep. And it was following the Princess of Blades and like a new character and stuff.
What were your opinions on the movie and the second
I never saw the movie.
Okay.
I did like the spin-off, but here's the thing. When the second season started, I totally forgot about the spin-off. So my issue is it's pretty forgettable. Like, there's no real like, what's it called? Like no real like stakes in it, you know?
Okay.
Because we do get to see more of that girl's squad. And then we get our main character is this new girl who is some sort of spellcaster who needs to like, level up and be a part of the team and, you know, fucking rally, but she's too scared. So it's a lot of her like growing in that sense. But the whole time it's like, cool, I really just want to see, you know, our main character from season 1.
What's his name?
His name is Bell.
Bell. I always remembered it's something really cool. I think Bell is a fucking awesome name.
I think his name is Bell Leaf. Like that's his name.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck about that last name, but that first name, I fuck with it, dude.
His nickname is Little Rookie.
I don't like that.
Or so they also call him something else, something like Usagi something, which means like the bunny, right? Or like the white bunny or something like that. Anyways, so second season pops off. And my biggest issue with it was it's kind of sad to say I didn't enjoy it as much because I felt like where the first season ended, there was like a lot of like hype, and it was a really pinnacle battle, and like we get revealed like as a teaser that Bell might be related to, like, might actually not be completely human. He might be like half god or whatever. Like as like
that's a fun idea.
What's that word called? They're demigods, right?
Yeah.
Which would explain why he's so powerful or whatever. And I'm like, oh, cool. And his dad might be Zeus. So it's like, oh, cool. We haven't seen Zeus. We don't know anything about, but I know, I mean, and you know, like Zeus is a badass, right?
What?
Like in history, he's been
Disney. Yeah. Disney. I've seen Disney. Disney is good.
So I'm super stoked. I wanted that energy to come into that next season, but it just kind of started off kind of slow, and we start off with like a battle between Hestia's Familia, which is Leaf's goddess, and then against Apollo, and they get into like a scuffle, and they do like a essentially like a fucking Percy Jackson lightning thief kind of like battle.
Yeah. You stole my lightning. No, you stole my lightning. And then they fight each other.
And it's like 3 episodes, and that's like, then that kind of story wraps up. And then the next arc starts up, and there's another goddess who's obsessed with Belle for some reason. And then there's another goddess who is for some reason cares that this other goddess is obsessed with him. So she's like, oh, well, I'm going to take him because she wants him.
Theory.
Huh.
There's already an Aphrodite in the show.
One of them, yeah, there's an Aphrodite there, but she's not either of these. Anyways.
Theory, Belle is Aphrodite. No. That's why all the girls want him so bad.
Aphrodite's...
Theory. Game. This is just a game theory, though. Don't take it for truth.
Okay.
It's just a game theory.
It's a hot scoop.
What if Aphrodite?
What if? Probably not. But what if?
Well,
anyways.
We'll see.
This last arc is this like fucking weird triangle to steal Belle, right? And then there's also, they introduce a new, wouldn't you know it, like a new girl character, and she's got like fox ears and a fox tail, and she works in the red light district that is owned by this goddess who wants to kidnap Belle, and she's a prostitute. And she's kind of, she came from like a very like prestigious family, but got sold into slavery because of some bullshit. And
been there, man.
And she's like super down on herself. And she's essentially like, I'm garbage, and like no one can ever love me.
Absolutely been there,
because I'm a prostitute and I don't deserve to be saved. And Belle's like, you know what? Fuck that. I'm gonna save you. So Belle saves her.
It's because Belle's my boy.
And then that arc gets resolved. She gets to join the Familia as like a maid, which is kind of fucked up. And then the last 2 episodes are like, I don't know. It's hard to describe, like, just because.
Isn't that the sign of either something really good or so like confusing and bad?
I think the pacing was really strange because like they spent so much time on this like, you know, this prostitute saving, you know, fucking love triangle arc thing, that there was only 2 episodes left in the season, and it was just like, cool, Hestia gets kidnapped by Ares in 1 episode, and then the next episode Belle just happens to be okay, and they're all like in this little village, and there's just, the mayor's letting them stay there, and he's just like, yeah, it's all cool, we're good. And the mayor's like, hey, I used to have a goddess, and you know, I loved her and she died, don't let your goddess die. And he goes, Belle's like, okay. And then that old guy dies, and then Belle's like, I'm never gonna let you die. And then that's how the season ends. Like, I get it, you love your goddess, but what I didn't get was any more information about who he is or what his backstory is. We barely got to see any more team ups with him and his actual love interest, you know, the fucking Princess of Blades, which is like, I really like them, that, you know, I've shipped them together in my mind. You know, there's plenty of other beautiful women that want Belle, but Belle wants her, and she obviously wants him, right? Like, in like a very cute, wholesome way.
They should be together.
And we didn't see any of it, right? And I was like, it's kind of like the whole season kind of went by, and in my opinion, I was like, it wasn't like that I was bored, because there was pretty cool fight scenes, but I was like, I don't know. It felt just kind of like a waste, honestly.
Yeah, it's tough.
And then at the very end, they do one more thing where like some chick wakes up in a dungeon. She like, the dungeon wall cracks and she falls out of the wall, and she goes, where am I? And I go, who are you? Who the fuck? Like, and then setting up for like something else.
Well, if you just read the light novels.
I don't like reading. All that being said, I mean, I still like the series, right? I still like a lot of the characters. I still like the animation. I still like the art style. I even still kind of like JC Staff, even though they fucking did One Punch Man season 2 really bad.
Yeah.
The second season wasn't, I think, all that great, and
Didn't live up to what you hoped it would be.
I thought it could have been a lot better. So yeah, that's is it wrong to pick girls? Is it wrong to pick Girls in the Dungeon season 2? So in my opinion,
cool. And then let's talk about our opinion on Dr. Stone, made by TMS Entertainment. They've done Real Life, Orange, and Megalobox.
Ooh, this is pretty good shows.
Yeah, Real Life being more of a slice of life comedy type thing, Orange being a drama, and Megalobox being like a hype shonen.
Megalobox being the top tier fighting anime. Remember?
Well, it is.
Yeah. Obviously, it's not because Baki the grappler though.
Yeah, you got a
no,
point
what was
there.
it? No, he said he was asking about
Kengan Ashura gonna be, amongst some of the top fighting anime like Megalobox and like Baki the grappler.
Yeah, I guess if the ceiling is Megalobox and Baki the grappler is the floor, yeah, Kengan Ashura for sure landed in the center of that.
They for sure made it work, man.
Absolutely.
They put it right in in the top and the low. They put it right in there. Yeah, anyways, Dr. Stone is what we're talking about.
How long did you wait until getting into this? How many episodes did you wait?
Yeah, 6 to 8.
Okay. And I think it was
like 8 because I watched about 3 and then I gave up.
Okay. And then once the 8th episode came out, you kind of picked it up again, right? Yeah. So I also watched a couple episodes and then waited, and then I think I started before you, and then I was kind of up to date. But I remember at first you and I just kind of weren't really feeling this show.
It was hard to figure out. I know where it's at right now. What I wanted it to be, because that's what I feel like it started as, was an interesting story-driven action shonen. That's kind of how I saw it. But instead of action, it was science.
Yeah.
What it actually was is a slice of life in a cool setting with a minor goal. So when I twisted my realization of that, I wound up really enjoying the show. It's just a completely different show than I went into it expecting it to be.
Yeah, and for the premise of this show is essentially something happens all over the world that turns every living thing into stone.
Yeah.
I mean, except for animals, right?
No, some animals are stone.
I think it's sparrows, specifically birds, right?
I think that was it.
Specifically
you are
sparrows and humans get turned to stone.
Yeah.
And then everything else is fine.
Which I'm sure is a plot device in some way or another, but...
And then I don't know, it's like a billion years. A lot of time passes, and then
10 billion% of time passes.
And then our main character wakes up from his slumber. And then he starts figuring out how to wake up other people, and then he tries to rebuild civilization essentially because he's the world's smartest guy. Like he's
absolutely
a genius.
Like he was already going to be one of the world's smartest people to ever live, but instead he just became the world's smartest person that's alive right now.
Yeah, because everybody else is either stone or like a caveman.
Yeah, so he's not making any scientific advancements, but he sure is
making stuff,
bringing stuff back to the way that it was in ways that you wouldn't expect.
And this show, for people who don't know, is 2 cour, so it's still technically running.
Still airing, yeah.
But so I think it's 24, so 12.
Something.
I think around it was either episode 12 or 13 that wrapped up. I would say like that first kind of
just wrapped it up in the last episode that I watched.
Yeah.
I think it was like 14.
My biggest issue with this show was the way it looked, honestly. I'm not a fan of the art style.
I was fine with it. It's just a little weird.
I've seen the manga, and I remember reading the manga and like thinking the art style was cool. And then they kind of translate it to the anime, and I just wasn't a big fan of it. They do strange, ugly faces, and not like the ugly faces that I like, which is kind of nitpicky, right? Because I'm like...
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm like, I mean, man, you like my Mob Psycho. Mob Psycho looks way grosser than this
but
shit.
It's so good.
But,
It's so good. That bug-eyed bitch, though. I hate seeing her goddamn face.
There's Fish Girl, and then there's other Fish Girl. Like, they're all fishies. All the girls are fishies.
So... my favorite part of this show is for sure the science. Because, if there wasn't science in it, if they weren't doing like, hey, man, we're making ammonia or magnets or glasses, I'd be like...
Also, we're doing this crazy scientific advancement in like a cave age world.
Yeah, with no technology. It's like... I think that's what I enjoy the most from the movie. I mean, from the show. Like, it's like whenever they're doing stuff like that, he made ramen. I was like, that's pretty fucking cool. Yeah, he made blowing glass was so cool. I really enjoyed when they were blowing glass.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, that's my favorite part of the show. I'm probably gonna keep watching it, I think, just because like I want to see what happens.
Yeah. I'm definitely gonna keep watching it. It's an easy watch. It's
not hard.
That's really what it is. if you go into it wanting like a story or you want something specific from it, don't go into it for that. Just go in for the ride that it is.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's very anime. So there are a lot of moments where it like explains shit to you. Like there's a robot Senku. Senku's the main character that pops up and explains weird shit for like 3 episodes.
Yeah.
Maybe it explains stuff.
Or like they'll be like, you know, shit pans out and they'll be like, it feels very Dora the Explorer where like they highlight stuff and they go, what are we gonna do next? This is the status of the nation of science, and they kind of light up stuff and they go, it's just very like, oh, it's not very serious.
Yeah, no. And if you want it to be serious, you're just not going to get that.
I don't think so.
It has some serious stuff in it, which is why it's confusing to me. But I'm in it, man. But I'm not in it for the reasons that I was at the beginning.
Yeah. You're in it, but you're not in it to win it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah. I'm in it just because it's something to do.
Yeah,
I guess.
Sometimes you got to be in shit.
And sometimes shit's fun.
Yeah, sometimes.
It's
All
fine.
right, cool. What else you got?
Also, I forgot to tell you, I read the latest issue of Promised Neverland that came out. Latest book.
That one, you're in it to win it, though.
Yeah, I am in it to win it. And they give you a little insight into what's going on with Phil. Yeah.
The real main character?
Yeah.
Nice.
They show him for like a little bit and kind of do some internal monologue. Spoilers for Promised Neverland, I guess, not huge spoilers if you've watched the first episode. But anyways, character is being sent away, and it kind of gives Phil's new perspective on that. And it's interesting. I'm into it because it's exactly, if you've seen the entire first season, if you've read like any of it, you know what his perspective is at this point. So it's interesting. It's cool. And then I also read Land of Lustrous, the latest issue of that, and I forgot about how fucking convoluted shit got near the end of the last book. Like, man, so many things happened. Like you had told us before, main character isn't even the main character that we started out with. It's a totally different
new head, new body, new arms.
New like everything, new personality. And then there are other characters that are constantly changing as well, physically and in their personality. And we just lost all remnants of another character, and now there's something else. And I'm so confused. It's just like watching a body horror type thing. It shows so many gems being crushed and their eyes like falling out and goo going everywhere and just shattering, and like decrepit arms that are half put together and fingertips that are just like gross ass bloody messes, but instead of it being blood, it's gem stuff. I don't know. It's like if your bones were pointing out of your fingers and you're just like, ew, yikes. But it's gems. Wild. Given. Tell me about Given, man. It's made by the studio Lerch. They've done Assassination Classroom, Asobi Asobase, and Magical Girl Raising Project.
Yeah, good show, by the way. Magical Girl Raising Project. Fucking check it out, guys.
Yeah, so you should. Good. That show was rad.
It's fucking awesome. Okay, so Given, all this season I've been calling it Gay Guitar Boys because that's what it is. It's and then you would go, it's, for people who don't know, the show is called Given.
It's Given.
Yeah. So the show's about a boy who's in high school, and he's a musician, and he's, kind of, I don't know, he's kind of just, everything kind of sucks around him.
Yeah.
Like in his opinion, like everything's kind of lame. Nothing really,
He's in a slump.
He's first being really moody. And then he runs into a new character who he's never noticed before. And he's like another high school student who is holding a guitar.
Yeah,
and
he's looking off to the sky like a goon while he's got a guitar in his arms.
He's very like listless, very like, I'm just holding this guitar. He looks like a dumbass. So they start this friendship. He teaches him how to play the guitar. It turns out, the guitar was given to him, and he didn't even know you could change the strings. Like he knows fucking dog shit. Like nothing.
He knows
absolutely
nothing.
They start this awkward friendship, and he agrees to teach him how to play. And then he sees that he kind of has a knack for it. And then he also notices that like he's also kind of musically gifted. Like he hums, and he's like, wow, that's really pretty. You have music inside of you. He makes him join his band, which is with a couple college students because they're in high school. And that's kind of where the story goes. And we figure out like, what's this guy's deal? What's this like this good boy with the guitar, like what's his story?
Yeah, where did he come from?
How everybody's relationships kind of connect. Obviously I like the show. It is yaoi, right? That's the one where it's boy on boy stuff,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so
It's not hentai, but it's
yeah,
yaoi.
it's a boy love for sure. Like, very quickly see that like these characters are gay.
Like episode 1, you're like, oh yeah, they're for sure
they're
gay.
for sure gay. Like, they like other men, which is totally fine. There's not a problem with that, right? Like, I'm as a straight man with a wife. It's cool. Like I was like, oh, cool. These guys are gay and they're playing music. I'm down. And the one
Born
thing
to make history.
the one thing I like too is like, sometimes a lot time with like animes that revolve around the music, they like as an example, like fucking Force a Piano and shit like that. Like when they play music, it doesn't really move me, but the characters or the people in the show will be like, oh my god, that's amazing. I've ever heard. Unlike Carol and Tuesday, which songs actually did move me.
Like, woof, woof. Yeah,
I know, like that was like good music. I really still
it was.
Kids on the Slope when they're playing like together for the first time, like or like in the auditorium, like oh, that's really good music. This show, like the music that they played, like their rock music that they played, like I enjoyed a lot. Like
it was a jam.
Like the intro, I really enjoyed, and then there's a bit when he's like shredding on the guitar, showing this new character what music is or whatever, and I was like, that's fucking awesome. And then later on in the season, they want to write a song together, and he finally gets around to singing it. He's having a hard time like coming up with the lyrics, and then when the show kind of comes on, he just kind of belts out what's inside his heart, and it was really fucking good. Like I really enjoyed it, and people in the audience were like, holy shit, talking about how much it impacted. I'm like, yeah, man, I agree. That was a good fucking song. Like I feel it. So that's where my hat goes off to them, because like the show isn't the prettiest looking show. Like it's the animation and the style is okay, But
how would you compare that performance to the one at the beginning of Angel Beats, where the girl's on stage singing her heart out, and then she gets
Angel Beats is different just because Angel Beats is for sure like a better show, because like the characters are just like way better fleshed out.
Yeah,
like
sure.
Even though they're only there for like maybe an episode or two, sometimes
you still wind up like holding on to them a little bit. Yeah.
Like her backstory was so fucking sad.
Yeah, it was.
So her music was good. I mean, like that performance was good. I don't know if I like that song. Like I don't think I would listen to it personally.
Okay, so you feel like
the style of music.
What about the impact? That's essentially what I'm talking about. The impact of that kind of a scene versus the end one with Given.
Like you're asking like if I liked one more than the other, or like
just as a whole, like what was kind of the message behind everything, and what impacted you the most? Because you like the music of Given more, which I totally understand.
Yeah, I think that's hard. I mean, you know what, the impact of Angel Beats might edge out Given, just because it's like it's so much,
but it's really close.
Yeah, it is close, and
I think that's an important thing, because that's what I look for in certain shows. I want to have that kind of impact of you're like, whoa.
And I think I think it's close because Angel Beats' impact is like so much. For people who don't know about Angel Beats, this girl's like performing, and she's talking about how like
this is one of the first episodes. Like, one of the first like 3.
She's talking about like why she died and like how tragic her life was, and she was abused by her father or something like that, like physically, and she worked really hard, and she kind of dies from a brain aneurysm.
She wound up having a bottle thrown at her head while her parents were fighting. Yeah. And she still tried to go to work. She worked like every day so that she could try to provide for the family and help out in any way she could. And then while she was at work, after being hit in the head, she suddenly,
over. So I think Angel Beats beats it out just because that is so much like heavier. It
has a lot more behind it. Yeah. And then she's just singing her heart out, and like she's like, I finally feel good. I finally made it.
And then she gets gone girled.
Yep.
But I really like Givens because it is very
emotionally honest.
It feels really realistic.
Okay.
Like the story he's singing is about his. So for people, I mean, you don't know this. I was trying to like, because you didn't really watch the show.
Nah.
So the guitar he gets was given to him by
but his brother.
No, by
his ex-lover.
By his mom. By his ex-boyfriend's mom, because
I was so close.
Because his ex-boyfriend dies, right?
Yeah.
So his ex-boyfriend dies, and he was a musician, and he gives him the guitar, and like he doesn't really know what to do, because that ex-boyfriend of his was kind of there for his whole life, like
can I want to interject something really quick for anyone that doesn't take any interest at all, or doesn't even attempt to understand what their person they're supposedly in love with does as a hobby. if you don't even try to attempt, this motherfucker didn't know that you could change the strings on a guitar. Okay. You know? So you're fucked up. Okay, you fucked up.
So here's the thing. Because that is explained. Because I'm also really surprised by that. Because like I said, this guy, his ex-boyfriend who passed away, was kind of there for his whole life. Like since he was like elementary school, middle school, up until high school. Then like they went to different schools.
Okay.
But like even to the point where like we really briefly see that our main character, this dumb, this loser of a guy, this idiot, this
our main character,
he was abused by his dad, like physically abused, and like this other kid speaks up for him and gets his father arrested and sent away. So like he's always there protecting him, and they like one's way more boisterous and way more outgoing, and the other one's really calm and centered, down to earth. So they kind of keep together. They go very well together somehow. And this character always liked to hum, and like he had like music inside of him, and his boyfriend noticed it. But he never, and he there's a point where he's always wanted to be like, oh, I want to write a song together, but he never got around to like asking him, hey, do you want to be a part of this world with me, right? Because the other kid, again, is just like, yeah, man, I hum, no big deal, And when this boyfriend started the band was when he was in high school, when they were in different schools, and so he just knew that he played instruments. He was like, oh, cool, but he never in his mind thought like, holy shit, I could be a part of his band, like, because he's dumb, right? Anyways, what I was trying to say before he got to this point was, that last song was really powerful because like he's singing about this love that he lost, and it feels really like honest and humble. And then this leads to him realizing he now has feelings for the new boy that like is now teaching him how to play music. That boy is also gay. He like kisses him like right off stage, which literally made me go, oh shit, like that. Like I literally gasped, Trip. Like they're playing their music, the song goes off because like again we don't expect them because they've decided we're not gonna sing because they were an instrumental band before they originally. So they go, we're not gonna sing because he hasn't written the lyrics yet. Lights come on, he just instantly starts singing, and they're like, holy shit, he's killing it. The song's over, he has to walk off stage, and then like the other guitarist walks with him, and he's like gonna say something, he's like kind of crying, and our boy, the guitar boy, kisses him and goes like, you fucking did it, man, I'm really proud of you. I'm gonna go out there and fucking thrash a little bit more. You hang out here. So he does, and they don't even fucking talk about it, right? Like the next episode, the other guy goes like, he forgot that he kissed him, and he goes like, holy shit, how does he feel about me? What do I do? And then they talk about it, and they're like, we like each other, we should be together. And they end up being together, which is like a very surprising thing because, Japanese culture, I guess, or like in real life culture is very homophobic, right? Very anti, like,
oh, absolutely,
being gay. But for some reason, their media is super gay sometimes.
Shit's gay, man. Nothing wrong with that. Hella into that.
There's times where the show kind of goes into like really anime heavy, like this last 2 episodes where like he finds out that like, the other boy likes him and stuff. He does this weird thing where like he goes inside his head and there's different versions of him wearing different shirts. Like one of the shirts says like, the moody me, one says the cool me. And they're all arguing about how to handle the situation, right? And then one of the shirts says the virgin me, and he has like a party hat. And like, hey man, yeah, you're gonna fucking lose it. Yeah, what do we, and they're all like freaking out, And it feels like an episode. It feels like like that Inside Out movie, it's like,
sure,
and you kind of go, where the fuck did this come from? Like, there's been little hints of anime bits, but this is very anime.
This is very anime.
This season ends. They're in a relationship. They agreed to like work on it because they're not perfect. And they're gonna keep making music and promote the band. And Given is the name of the band. That's what they end up calling the
sense.
band. I really like this show. It's not for everybody, honestly. Like,
I couldn't figure out if it was for me. I kind of wanted to watch it. Don't know if I want to or not. But.
I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I'm also, for some reason, a real big sucker for boy love.
Are you?
Yeah. Like
Since when?
I don't know. Like, Kiss Him Not Me, for some reason, was like really good.
But you've always said for years, you're like, yeah, I'm way into like lesbian love,
But like jokingly, like not like honestly, but I really do love lesbians.
Yeah.
But there's more. I feel like there's more like boy love shows than there are lesbian shows, right? Like the last lesbianish show that I saw that was anime was the Happy Sugar Life, which was fucking horrible.
Man. Well, there's like Bloom Into You, and there's
I didn't see that though.
Kaze-san in Morning Glory.
Which one's that one?
That one's the movie
Also
thing that I watched.
Didn't see that one either.
Was at Anime Expo you chose not to see because you don't love lesbians.
Don't love lesbians. No, but I mean, Kiss Him Not Me I really liked. I mean,
Citrus.
Yuri on Ice I really enjoyed.
Yuri on Ice was amazing.
I really enjoyed this last one, Given. Citrus was really gooey knees,
Yeah, it's gross.
It was a little much. Again, so to wrap up, I really enjoyed it. I don't think it's for everybody. Like I said, the art style and the animation isn't the best. But I mean, I really like the music, and I'm invested in these characters, and I want them to just all kind of be happy. There's also other characters, like the other two bandmates are also, one is for sure gay, and the other one is bisexual.
Yeah.
And it has like unrequited love for that one.
Hell yeah.
And they're going to do, I think they're making a movie, right? And it's going to be about these two other boys. Yep.
The Given movie, it's coming out sometime.
Yeah, so
listen to one of our older episodes to find out when.
Listen to either listen to last week or the week before that. Or the week before that. Listen to the last 3 episodes. It's in one of those.
Yeah. If not the last 3, like maybe the last 4 or 5.
It's there.
It's around.
So
maybe 6.
If you like that kind of stuff, if you like boy love, if you like musical animes, check this out. Maybe it's for you.
Cool.
Yeah.
On a very related topic, I found a new subreddit to me called Egg IRL. It's egg_IRL. Mm-hmm. And the whole idea of it is it's a bunch of memes and there's people kind of making fun of themselves and what they got going on about how they either are or used to be an egg and they haven't come out of their shell yet. Okay. So they're in denial about being something that's not heteronormative, something that's not just like straight cis. Mm-hmm. And fuck, dude, those memes are fucking great. I was having such a good time with them. I'm like, oh, hell yeah. Because I play girls in like every video game if I get the choice, right? Yeah. So I'm like,
and you've always wanted to be a mom.
I relate to half of these. I do always want to be a mom. That's a canon thing in the podcast. I'm like, fuck, I get all this shit. But like, I'm straight though. But then like, that's like the joke with everything. So I'm like, this is really fucking with me right now, guys. I can't handle it.
Yeah.
But long story short, I'm straight though. But like, whatever. If I had to be a mom, I would be, But that's all wolf children's fault though. Oh yeah.
I didn't honestly. What's funny is that I didn't understand that joke when you would be like, yeah, man, I'll never be a mom. And then I watch Wolf Children, I'm like, I fucking get it, man.
I'll never be a mom.
I'll never be a mom.
You feel that. You're like, you could be a dad, but you won't be a mom.
I can for sure be a werewolf too, but I'll never be a mom.
Yeah, absolutely. First thing on the list, become a werewolf.
And then die.
That's the checklist. You have like a huge piece of paper that's like what to do, and then most of it's blank. It's just 2 things.
Actually, it would have to be 3. It'd have to be become a werewolf, impregnate a human woman, die.
Well, I like your one beforehand. I'll go with the other one.
Okay.
Oh wait, what's next? Pregnancies. So I figure you just told me about a show that I didn't watch. I'll tell you about a show that you didn't watch. Wasteful Days of High School Girls, made by Passion. They've done things that we've recently talked about, like Citrus, a moment ago when we talked about that, Hinako Note, and Roka, Braves of the Six Flowers. So Wasteful Days of High School Girls is, if Asobi Asobase was Daily Lives of High School Boys, you essentially take a few main character girls that branches out into all different characters in the classroom that are somehow interacting with our group of fucking psychopaths at the center. You have Baka, Robo, and the other one, which I forget, but she actually loves boy love as well.
Nice.
She draws manga. She's got her own manga stories, and she's inspired by this musician that winds up being her teacher. And it's a whole, like, everything's kind of mixed together in certain ways. You have little stories in it that build to the characters, and it does add some things, and it has a lot of heart, and it's a lot of fun and charming. Then you have other moments, like the way pretty much every episode starts with one of the main characters. I think she's the main character, but she's not. Baka, who says, I'm about to say something really amazing right now, and says some of the dumbest shit you have ever heard. That's how every episode begins, but it always spawns the characters talking about some like weird ass thing. Robo's a goddamn genius, so she's kind of removed from it, and she's always doing something else that's like way more complicated or interesting, but you're never told about what she's doing. She's just kind of like doing stuff in the background, like she's soldering in the background while other characters are doing stuff, and she's constantly like reading books and very involved in her scientific life. And then you have the other character that does the manga and the boy love stuff, essentially just dealing with all the bullshit and calling the main character out on being such a dumbass all the time, and is kind of like the normal person you're supposed to relate to in that group of three. But she is like also a fucking anime junkie like we are. So she's like, oh fuck yeah, the new issue of this shit just came out, dude. You know, that kind of shit.
Get a little shit lord.
Yeah, you get it. So it's fun having that like core trio. You also have the Lolita girl, who she is very small, but she acts tough as fuck so that people don't fuck with her. Doesn't work out too well because she's tiny and adorable. So she's just like a little spunky, fucking angry, very sensitive, but pretends like she's not. Short girl that's sweet and fun and a great addition to every episode. Honestly, I think she's one of my favorite characters from a show recently. They gave her just enough personality and just enough originality behind her, mixed with familiar tropes and certain things with characters like that, that she became just a whole new thing that I loved. You also have the character that loves girls, hates boys. If a boy touches her, she gets hives. That's how much she hates boys. So she's like pretty into drama and stuff. And she's trying to like cause drama within groups. And then she winds up finding like admiration for these other characters and really connecting with a few of them. You have just the sporty one that's really smart. She's sporty, really smart, pretty isolated. She's cool. She's just a cool, like, kind of lesbian character. That's about it. She also has a great mom. That's it. That's her. Not a whole lot behind her. You have this fucking psychopath. She's essentially like the weird kid at school. When you already have all these other characters that are fucking weird, she's the weird kid at school that's running around like Naruto, running through the fields with their backpack so they could get to class first. But she's like pretending like she's a shonen protagonist, but she's definitely not.
She the occult character. She also likes. That's a different one.
That's a different one.
Oh, man.
Yeah. No, she's edgy as fuck. She always climbs up in trees and stares out like ominously.
The one that
and then she gets stuck in trees. Yeah, because she can't get down. She's too scared to get down. But she's always like brooding. And then she's being lowered by like the firefighters as she's still like looking out ominously in the distance while she's riding down on the ladder and they're like holding on to her. She's still giving that look. And the teacher tries really hard to get her to face not reality. Be a fucking psycho. Yeah. So he's trying to help her out. And their whole interactions are great. He's essentially like, what do you want to be? And she's like, I want to be the dragon slayer and I'll do all these things and I could summon these. And she just goes off on a tangent. And afterwards is like, all right, so what the fuck do you want to be? Like, just lets her fucking let it all out and then says, you're an idiot. None of that's going to happen. You're a fucking crazy girl. Be real. What do you want to be?
Yeah, grow the fuck
up. I don't
want
to deal with your shit.
Yeah.
He's just getting more and more exasperated as she becomes crazier and crazier. And then you have the occult character that you were talking about, who she really likes occult stuff. She's kind of afraid of people. Like, she's very afraid of people. And she just stays at home. She has a sister as well. And her sister looks a lot like her, but they're not the same. And then her sister winds up bringing her back to school. And then she meets our trio of idiots and gets along pretty well with them. And then she meets other characters. And then she's kind of realizing that people are more okay. But she still does very weird occult shit every once in a while. And acts like it's totally normal. Like she wants to make a voodoo doll so that she could like make her friends happy or something like that. You know, that kind of weird where she's positive, but doing some pretty sketch shit.
Yeah.
Her sister's an all right character, and there might be another one. I don't know. I can't remember off the top of my head after all this, but I feel like that's covered pretty much all of them. So you get to see each character go through different story arcs that just kind of build on their characters. It's a very slice of life show, but then there are a couple of episodes which do have a story that like, it doesn't just add personality to characters. It adds like drives and goals, and it changes them in certain ways. And I really appreciated that. They have a story arc with Robo where there's a boy who has a crush on her and he's just kind of like a one-off type thing, but it shows how she interacts with these people and how she does care about them to where like, oh no, you're having this issue. Like, I'll help you out with that. Even though I don't know you, like I'll totally help you. But she does it in a very dry way. Long story short, it's fucking out of control. they're all just psychopaths. So every episode is just filled with screaming and stupid shit. Baka gets stuck in a photo. I don't know what they're called, like cutout thing, to where she looks like she's a giraffe or whatever. Her head's all up in the giraffe face, and you could take a picture and you look like you're a giraffe.
You're saying,
yeah, that thing. And then somebody comes by and like, fucking idiot, I can't believe you would get your head stuck in there. And then she's like, look at how easy it is, and gets her head stuck. So then they have to like walk to school with this cutout around their heads. And yeah, it's like that kind of stupid shit mixed with just some really relatable, stupid shit that goes on in your own life, but they put it to an extreme level. Like Baka is saying, hey, I'm bored today, so I'm taking a bunch of selfies of myself. Let me know what you guys think. And it's just group chatting with her two friends, taking a bunch of dumbass selfies. And then her friends completely ignore it and don't respond to her at all. And she just sending text after text, and you just hear the phone like buzzing in the background while the character is doing something else. I love it. Just those little elements that you could relate to.
How's the intro, though?
Hypest intro of all time. Honestly, when I first started watching this show and the intro came on, it had so much style to it that I pretty much just watched the show because of the intro. It convinced me to watch it. The song is stupid and I love it, and it's on Spotify. So you know that's in the weeb playlist, boy.
Nice, Doug.
It's fun and it's just a good time. It's on High Dive. All the other shows we talked about are on Crunchyroll, I believe, right?
Yeah.
So sorry I didn't mention that earlier, but Wasteful Days of High School Girls is on High Dive, and it's definitely a score. There are a couple of shows on High Dive that I think you should at least check out, and this is one of them.
Yeah.
You could also watch a bunch of movies and a bunch of old anime, not old, but, you know, anime that's not on Crunchyroll that's already aired.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
They also have like a good selection of dubs if you're a fan of dubs.
Lots of dubs.
Yeah.
I think they have some live action stuff too. They've got a lot on there. Definitely worth checking out. Cool. So next up, let's talk about Vinland Saga, made by Wit Studio. They've done Attack on Titan, Ancient Magus Bride, and Kabaneri of the Iron Fortress. Vinland Saga's on Amazon Prime.
And this is this show's great.
It's still continuing.
Yeah.
For those of you that are curious. So this is kind of like a, what should we expect?
So this show's about like Viking era times, you know, and like our main character is this kid named Thorkill, and when the show starts, you know, he's a child, and you know he has a dad he looks up to, and you know he has the village that he lives on, and you know he is very youthful and very happy, and you know he wants to just grow up and be like his dad.
Also, his dad's like the most ripped ass motherfucker in the universe. His name's Thor's, yeah, and he's essentially like the human embodiment of Thor. He's ripped, he's compassionate,
he's dope.
He is so cool.
I didn't know how strong. Like I remember him. Like people always looked up him and you know explained like, oh, you know, you respect him. Or whatever.
You know, it's like those war stories.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But you didn't. I didn't really believe it. And then there's the scene where they're leaving the island for the first time, and all the other men are on one side of the ship, and he's on the other side rowing, and he has just a huge paddle because he can row the entire boat by himself on one side. It's like, oh my god, this guy's a monster.
Yeah, that's great.
But yeah, so you know, it follows him, and you know, Thorkill and Thorfinn, and then he. You know, he sees his dad get killed, and then this leads to him kind of dedicating himself to like a life of revenge. And he ends up actually working with the guy who was kind of in charge of, you know, his dad being killed. Yeah. And he blames him.
He was the leader of the person that killed the dad because they tried to ambush them, and it was just a whole weird, messy thing. Yeah.
The thing is, like,
it happens in the first few episodes, though.
Thorkill, I keep messing up. Thorfinn, and it kind of becomes a part of this man's crew, and he just becomes like a hardened warrior. And all he wants is to fight this dude and kill him for killing his dad.
He becomes a savage.
He's a monster, dude. He's at points he's like, it looks like he's not even like human, really.
No, he's an animal.
Like one of the bits is like he's still not completely fully aged up. He's still kind of like a little bit younger.
Yeah, he's probably like 14 to 15.
Yeah, he gets like patched back to health by some English lady, you know, and they feed him. They take the fucking takes out of his hair or whatever. They clothe him, and he doesn't know a lot of English because I think he's Welsh or whatever, right? Like, yeah. So he doesn't speak English, but with the little English he has, he goes like, he tells her to run away, right? Like, go away, get out of here. Then he like lights the fire, which then like tells like the other Vikings to come in and start pillaging the village.
Yeah.
And she runs up. This old lady runs up and he sees him just brutalizing these fucking soldiers.
Yeah.
And like he looks like a feral beast, you know? And I go, oh my fucking God. Like this sweet old lady was super nice to you. And like, you know, you kind of tried to help her. Like, but you still said, nah, fuck it, man. I need this village to be gone. Like he's for sure like a Viking. Like,
Yeah.
I think up till now, like, cause we're not completely done with it, right? Like
No, there's more to go.
I think, the most recent thing I saw, I know I'm a couple of episodes behind.
I'm like one behind.
Most recent thing I saw is like they've just encountered this other guy named Thorkill, right? Mm-hmm. And he's this mountain he's one of my favorite characters. He's this mountain of a Viking. He is just in it to. He's indentured. I don't know which side because it doesn't make it very clear.
Just whatever. He's part of the English army.
Yeah.
And he would really like to just be a part of war and fighting.
He wants to fight.
It's fun.
He's chasing down Thorfinn and his crew because they have a prince with them. Mm-hmm. And this is some brutal fucking violence. Like there's like it's like really pretty.
It's the beauty of Wit Studios mixed with the violence of Wit Studios.
Yeah, it's like very pretty like violence. Exactly. It's like slow motion. Fucking what's it called? Like I remember watching like 300 for the first time, be like, oh my God, that's so pretty, but it's like so gruesome. Or like watching Attack on Titan for the first time, be like, oh my God, look at them fucking tear each other apart, but it's so pretty kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
And I feel it. I don't know where the show's gonna go. I kind of thought that like Thorfinn might like forgive this guy that killed his dad and kind of be over it, but he seems to be really gung-ho about getting his revenge.
That's his drive to stay alive, essentially.
Yeah, he even has like, you know, flashbacks or whatever, or no, like dream sequences where he talks to his father and his father goes, yo, dude, what are you doing, man? I told you revenge is horrible. Don't do it. Don't kill anybody. You don't have to be like this. And Thorfinn's just like,
joke's on you, Dad.
Thorfinn's like, I miss you, Pops. I miss you a lot. I'm going to kill this guy and, you know, respect you in your honor. And the guy's dad's like, Ghost Dad's like, you're not listening, son. Like, please just listen to me.
Yeah, man. Pretty fucked up.
Good show, though.
It's a weird show to follow because you want to like the main character, but you're also like, he's just such a broken mess. You're just watching this character kind of fall apart while getting stronger and stronger. Like, he's not growing at all. He's had a lot of opportunities to grow, but he is just becoming a stronger monster.
He almost always chooses whatever like is in front of him is like, cool, what's gonna get me to like being able to challenge this guy again to get the revenge that I want. Like that's all he has to focus on. It's like laser focus.
He is missed out on so many riches and glory and food and just everything.
Couldn't care less. Like he's just like, fuck it. All I want is this revenge. How do I get it? And it's usually like, all right, you want revenge? You see the guy over there, he's the commander of the fight people were fighting. I want that guy's head, which is usually the hardest thing to do. And Thorfinn's like on it. And he fucking goes for it.
No question, I got you.
And he gets it most of the time. Except for fucking Thorkill. It's like, nah, dog. You can get a couple fingers. That's it.
Yeah, which was still nutso. It's a great show. It's a lot of fun. It's very dark. And it doesn't really have any... It has some lighthearted moments, but they're like so not lighthearted.
Yeah.
It's fun. I'm having a fun time with it.
I like the intro a lot.
The intro's good.
The song is like very reminiscent of fucking Banana Fish.
Yeah.
Because it's the same crew.
Uh-huh.
It does get to that point where it gets very screamo-y, but it's grown on me a lot. Like I really like the intro.
Yeah.
I'm just like...
Where it gets really whiny and then suddenly they go, rah, rah.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh yeah, I get that. Rah, rah.
Every time I have to go, oh yeah, can't wait to see these Vikings just fuck shit up, you know?
And they do.
Yeah.
It's a good ass time. I'm definitely going to continue watching
Me too.
it. I recommend it to a lot of people. Mm-hmm. Unlike the next show, Copcraft, made by Milipensi, who's done Berserk, TQ, and Wake Up Girls. So Copcraft is a cool concept that it lost its way, like right away. It's got a super rad intro. It's about essentially a detective who is involved with these fantasy people that came through a gate above the ocean. And there's a little bit of back and forth, but we don't really see it. We only see characters coming from the gate to the earth. Mm-hmm. And there's a whole thing with fairies and fairy dust being a drug, and you think that that's going to be the big plot. You're just like, oh, we got to get to the bottom of this fairy dust business, and we got to crack down and stop that because they're abusing people and they're around this whole drug ring. And then what it quickly does is the main character meets up with this princess chick from the other world who's very skilled in combat, and she's pretty fucking rad, but she is also like looking like a little girl, but she has the personality of like a 16 to 20-year-old, you know, somebody who's got a lot of confidence, but also is insecure about things and is vocal about it in like an immature way. So anyways, we get these characters pairing up, an unlikely duo, and they're kicking ass. They're doing different things. She's doing stuff that she doesn't realize is weird or wrong because she's not used to the way that things work in the real world, in the Earth world, that there are laws and there are certain things that you have to abide by, and you can't just go around killing people. We try to not kill, but her first instinct is eliminate the threat instead of detain the threat, right? So they're working on what has to happen a little bit. They wind up figuring out who's probably doing this, and they're actually using the fairy dust to control people and turn them into like zombies that can fight for them. Long story short, they find the supplier, they chase him down. He's like one of the coolest characters, and they kill him in the second episode he's in.
Okay.
Spoilers, because the show's not good.
I thought you were going to say like the second episode. I was like, holy shit, that's quick.
It was like the sixth, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. He's dead. He had somebody else he was working with that has essentially been turning these zombie people into like suicide bombs. It's causing a lot of commotion, and it's bad. Bad news. But guess what? The story doesn't matter anymore because we're fucking done making any sense at this point. Had a cool direction to go. They gave up and they were like, so there's this vampire chick. She uses like magic, so the magic elf girl can find her. And then there's a girl that died. Oh no, she's not dead. She's actually the vampire chick. So she comes back to life, and she's like a freaky, like beastly vampire type thing, I guess, is how you can imagine it. She's really fast, and she goes, kills a few more people, and they're like, ha, we got you. The end of that story arc. What did it do? Nothing. Instead, we're going on to the next thing, which is, okay, so there's this girl here who she's taken some pictures and she seems cool. She's also worked as a prostitute during this like sting operation. And then they wound up catching this governor, and then the governor tried to pay off one of the prostitutes that was taking pictures of stuff to like fucking screw with the cops and like ruin everything for them. And then she winds up getting killed by some sniper that was hired by the governor's like wife or something, and it's a whole bunch of like political drama. So it went from drug busting to weird vampire stuff to political drama, and then that plot drops. She's dead. Our elf girl lost her character that she finally was able to connect with. So where do you go from there? Well, the main characters are still working together, and they're trying to do a case which apparently involved a lot of different pieces of evidence. They took home some magic evidence to do some extra investigation. They stole like a few pieces. And then one thing leads to another. The cat shoots the elf girl with an arrow.
The cat?
The cat.
His cat.
The cat in the apartment shoots the elf girl with an arrow.
The cat that we thought was just a normal cat.
It is just normal cat.
Okay.
So you have to realize at this point, I'm like, this show fucking sucks so bad. It doesn't know what it's trying to do. It does a lot of really cool things that don't amount to anything. And I feel no impact. And it's just like, if each of these shows was a show, I would watch it. But instead, it's like a little piece of a show. And I keep hoping that everything's going to tie together in some way or another, but it's not. So the fucking cat shoots the goddamn elf girl with this arrow. Turns out it's a magic arrow. So what does magic arrow do? It Freaky Fridays elf girl and the cat. Sorry, your names. Elf girl and the cat, they do a little swapsarusi, and the elf girl's tearing off her clothes and trying to be a cat, which is no bueno, dog. It's not.
So now we're in it. Now
we're
back in it.
So long story short, we get this stupid like 2-part episode about this cat and the girl switching bodies. And
took
it's
2
so
episodes?
dumb. It took 2 fucking episodes, Juan. And then the end of the second episode is like, hey, by the way, we're still racist towards elf girls. And then finally the goddamn main character is like, hey, don't be racist towards elf girls.
That's my
Fuck
partner,
you.
yeah.
Yeah. It was so stupid.
It was like
goddamn.
I was trying to because you keep describing it, and I go, is it like a buddy cop thing? It's like a police procedure. I was like, no, it's kind of like House of Cards, you know? And
No, this is Hot Fuzz.
it's Hot Fuzz. And then at one point, I was like, oh, it's like 21 Jump Street. And then at the very end, I was like, oh, that's right. It's fucking it's Bright from fucking it's
Bright.
It's Bright.
It's Bright. It fucking sucks.
I'm super surprised you went through the whole thing. Is it because Kyle liked it, so you had to watch it with him?
He liked it more than I liked it, that's for sure. But it got to a point where I just needed to end this mess and see how it concluded. Then I found out that it's 2 cour, and I was like, nope, nope. You know what? I watched enough.
It's 2 cour?
Yeah, it did some more
Holy
stuff with the
shit.
governor. Turns out he gets killed, so there's no fucking person that I care about anymore. Except for, oh, that's right, the guy from the beginning that's doing the weird zombie stuff apparently matters. And he like sends all these zombie FBI guys to come and try to take over this case. And it's so fucking stupid. You know?
In my defense, now that I know it's 2 cour, it makes sense that the cat thing took 2 episodes. It's like, they're like, fuck it, fill it in. We got 24 episodes. Sorry, bud.
It's just, you know.
It's bad.
It could have been Bright, but in anime. But instead they made it just bad.
Yeah. Sorry, Doug.
It's fine. That's on Funimation. If y'all are trying to watch some of that, I want you to tell me about Fire Force, made by David Production.
Okay.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Cells at Work, and Sakurada Reset are all some popular shows from David Production.
Okay, so Fire Force and Dr. Stone kind of dropped in the same time, right?
There was the same kind of hype around them.
Exactly.
too.
Like I know that like when we were at Anime Expo, a lot of things were like Dr. Stone, Fire Force. It's like fucking huge banners. And so that's why it really shocked me when I saw like the first episode of Dr. Stone. I was like, this show's kind of ugly, you know?
But like we also kind of expected it to be ugly, but we were like, these backgrounds look fucking cool
Nice.
though, right?
Yeah. And then Fire Force, I was like, I watched the first episode. And I was like, this looks really cool. Like, but that was about it, right?
Yeah, that's how I felt. So I stopped.
And then I didn't watch it until it all finished airing. I was like, you know what?
I think that's probably I'm going to go on a limb and say that's the best way to watch it.
I would maybe, I don't know, because it also airs on Toonami, which is like, well, I could see people tuning in every Saturday night to watch this. It's a very appropriate show for Toonami, to be fair. Like
I agree.
So I waited to watch all of this because I was like, I'll check it out. I didn't watch that many animes this season. I'll watch all of this. The premise of the show is in this world, people started spontaneously combusting, like lighting on fire, and like be turning into kind of like these
demons,
these demon things. Yeah. I forget what they call them.
Burners.
Yeah, but no. They have a specific name, and I forget what it is.
Incinerators.
Ooh, it's closer. That's really close to what it probably is. It's not it though.
Fire Boys.
Nailed it. That's the one.
Yeah, that's the one.
So because of this situation, Japan, specifically the Empire of Japan, has decided they start these special like fire forces teams, right? That use people who are equipped with like all this like super tech, firefighting equipment, like more hardcore than a real firefighter. And then
they're called cinder blockers.
No. And then they also hire people who are like, they call them second generation like fire
Forcers?
psychics. They're like psychics.
Oh, okay.
And these people who have second generation have the ability to control fire. But they can't make it from nothing. Like it has to be created, and they can fuck with it. And then there's third generations, and they can create fire from nothing. And those are the really powerful ones. Those are the guys that they're like the heavy hitters essentially.
Yeah.
So our main character is a third generation, and he can shoot fire from his feet, and he kind of uses them to like propel himself, kind of like a rocket boost.
He's like a little jet boy.
Yeah, kind of like Astro Boy. Think Iron Man kind of vibes.
Okay, Zuko.
A lot of kicks.
Yeah.
A lot of kicks.
Okay, so My Hero Academia?
Yeah. Oh, so many
spoilers for My Hero Academia.
Yeah, it's kind of like whenever I see him fight, he reminds me of a lot about of Warang from fucking Tekken. I'm like, he's all kicks, no punches, because he's got no fists. Like, you know, he'd fucking break his hand, but he's all kicks. So the reason he joins the Fire Force is because when he was a kid, his house caught on fire, and like it took the life of his mom and his brother, and he saw like some weird demon in the fire. And so he's like, I'm gonna become a hero. I'm gonna not let this happen again. I'm gonna fucking avenge my family, right? This main character has the nickname that he's got, which was Devil, because when he walks, he leaves like burn marks on the ground of like footprints that kind of
which is badass.
They kind of look like devil footprints. And then he also has like this really creepy smile. Whenever he gets nervous, he puts this big smile on, and he has very sharp teeth. And the sharp teeth are very reminiscent of like the Soul Eater, which is like the guy who wrote the manga for Soul Eater also wrote the manga for Fire Force.
How do you feel about that smile?
I like it. I like his smile. I've always liked, I don't know what it is. I like characters with sharp teeth. It's very unrealistic. And so whenever it's in manga, I go, oh, okay, cool. Like that's not a thing you see in real life. So
yeah.
it just, I don't know. It's like a little thing. I'm not a fan of one fangs, you know, like the single fang thing. I do like sharp teeth though.
As far as sharp teeth go, I feel like it's a hit and miss thing with me.
Okay. Not everybody does
Fire
it for
Force, it missed.
Okay.
I liked what it was going for, but it just missed.
I liked it. Yeah.
Because I felt like they were further emphasizing just how strange he was when there's, I don't know. If you look at like Viral, I think that was his name, from Gurren Lagann. He's like the first beast man that we really meet. Who,
yeah, I know you're talking about.
Yeah, they have that field.
He's like the fox or like a wolf or something kind of.
Yeah, he's like a beast man.
He's got like sharp teeth. Yeah, I know you're talking about.
I felt like that was the first time that I saw it, and I was just like, oh, fuck,
Fucking cool,
that's great. So that set the precedence, and because that was what set it for me, I have like different standards.
What about Soul Eater? Because you've seen Soul Eater, right?
Yeah. Well, I feel like Soul Eater was such a unique, like, hey, even the sun has a fucking face that you could do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
But for this show, they were like, it's really realistic. Here's the one weird thing. Also, this guy has fangs.
There's also more weird things, like characters have like different types of eyes.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like Steven Universe, like there's every now and then his pupils turn into stars. There's a character whose eyes are just stars.
Yeah.
There's a character in the show who her eyes are just flowers. There's one character where one of his eyes is a red X and a red circle. And the thing is, I really enjoy the style of this show. Like, I really enjoyed like the manga of Soul Eater, and I read a little bit of Fire Force. I enjoyed the manga style. I enjoyed Soul Eater a lot, the way it visually looks, and like I can see like the style of art, like the style of, you know, the colors that they pick and stuff. So I'm a fan of the way it looks. I think more than anything.
I think my biggest issue with them being so stylized, because I also think that all of those styles look really good and they nail the character design.
Yeah.
I think that because the world is treated as looking almost like a replica of our world, to where you have just like brick buildings and stuff like that, and there's nothing kooky or special going on with them, it makes it harder for me to appreciate the kookiness of the characters that have flower eyes.
Yeah, I think if you would watch this show more, you would see more kooky stuff.
Okay,
like a more kooky environment, because there's this one building that just looks like a giant, like I don't know what to describe it, kind of like a tuba or whatever, like a trumpet. Like there's a bunch of machines, and it has this giant fire that keeps going. And we see in the latter half of the season, we go to like a different, I think it's like Firehouse 7. We go to their city, and it's very old school Japanese style. Everyone's wearing a different type of clothing. Like
that's cool.
It's like it's the clothes and the setup it looks different when you get around.
I'm glad that you told me that, because honestly, after the first 2 episodes, I was like, I feel like this is all way too all over the place for the setting that we're in. But the fact that there are so many different settings that could look kind of like anything but at once, I appreciate it now, because that makes it feel more like a city is just a combination of all these people
for sure
that have different upbringings, and different like nations that they're from might have different kinds of things.
I get what you're saying. Like it for sure, you can for sure see like the background gets like, they do change it. Like at first, the biggest strange building we see is their firehouse, which is like an old cathedral kind of thing. You know, it feels very out of place with everything else around it, which is what you're saying. Anyway, so this character joins the Fire Force. You know, he joins the 8th house, and he has a captain, and then a lieutenant, and then he has I guess she's a soldier that's above her, and then he gets joined by like a second rookie who was in the Fire Force, academy with him. His name is Arthur, and he has like a plasma sword. They don't really get along. There's also like a priestess there, and we kind of the story kind of develops, and we see like what they're trying to do, and the eighth firehouse's job. The reason they were brought together was they want to discover what is making people spontaneously combust. Like they want to find out what the cause of it is. And they've kind of, because there's like 7 other firehouses, they've kind of decided, like they've kind of come with this theory that it's kind of ridiculous that no one knows why this is happening now. It's like, so they're investigating within the other departments, they're trying to, because other departments are held, they're not all like, they don't all listen to the same person. Like, say house 1 through 3 is kind of like, their leader is like the Pope. They have like a Pope or goddess figure, like, and then like say houses like, 4 and 5 and 6, they work with this specific like company that does like medicine and stuff, like the tech company that is actually corrupt. And then like 7 specifically doesn't work for anybody. Essentially, what the 7th house is like these people who were just kind of fighting the fires by themselves. And then the government noticed them, and they're like, "You guys are really good. You guys should just be your own firehouse." And they go, "Yeah, fuck you guys, we will be." And then the 8th one, which is the most recent one to come together, is to investigate these other people to try to figure things out. There's a lot of cool fights in it, in my opinion. I think there's some really dope
fighting
stuff.
Look fucking cool from the first episode, and a little bit of the training or sparring in the second episode looked rad. I think
the biggest issue with the show is because I don't like. I enjoyed it visually. I enjoyed to watch the fights. I enjoyed like the style and stuff. I don't think it's all that great, honestly. Like it makes more sense when you and I were talking earlier, I think this last week or the week before that, about like how the Blu-ray sales are doing pretty bad.
They're doing real bad.
And it's not, and we did kind of say maybe it's part of Kyoto. It's like maybe it's also just not a good show. Like,
it's a little bit of both. I think that if it was a great show, it could surpass what Kyoto Animation has gone through and what's affecting like Japanese animation studios and all of Japan, really. There's more of concern for arson and fires and whatnot.
Yeah, I think
but if it was a good show, I think people could look past that.
Yeah. I think the thing is like the story's kind of lacking. It's like lackluster. It's very predictable. It's very paint by numbers kind of shonen thing. Our main character isn't the most like, I guess like,
he's not the
captivating, and like he's really
kind of boring.
Like he's really strong. He's just like not that like I don't really care about him. Like he's
like just, you could care about him if more happened, but nothing has happened.
Maybe if I was like younger, I'd be more open to it, because I remember
like, oh fuck, his family died. Damn, this character's cool.
Kind of like akin to like Naruto when I was younger. I was being like, man, Naruto's like a little bitch, but I fuck with this guy, you know. Like, and then like as the years got on and the story progressed, like things got more deep or whatever, you know. But if I go back to Naruto now, I go, oh, what a whiny asshole.
So like, if you went to Fire Force Shippuden, you'd be all good.
Probably. Like if they fast forward like 10 years and they're like adults, and I mean older, I guess they technically are adults.
So if you watch Promare, they would all be good.
I know, because Promare's insane.
It's psychotic.
It's fantastic. So the thing is, like, because the story's not the most captivating, and I feel like the pacing's really weird. Like a character who they fought like in the second arc or whatever, or near the beginning of the show, who was like a part of the outro is like the sister, the nun, right? So we get to see that thing, and it's a lot cooler in the outro, because like the story is pretty boring. Essentially she was in a nunnery, and like her and like one other sister didn't die from lighting on fire, and so the younger nun decided to keep going with her religion, and the other one decided to just go super corrupt and be like, fuck it, I'm gonna do whatever I can to wield my powers, because she has fire powers, and get what I want in this world, because nothing's ever gonna help me be who I want to be, or some shit like that. She gets beat up by her main character. He knocks her the fuck out, and then he goes, hey, I'm a hero, so don't worry about it, because I'm here to save you. And she goes, I love you. Like, I'll do anything for you now. And now she's a good guy, essentially, It's like, oh, that feels kind of cheap, What a cool story.
Man.
So I don't know, man. I don't want to shit on this too bad, because I'm sure some people are liking it.
Probably fine.
But the thing is, like, I just don't think it's like that great of a shonen. Like, there's My Hero is a way better shonen than this. Like,
fuck, man. Just watching the first episode of season 4,
And
so fucking good.
And there's really cool characters in the show. Like I really like specific characters. Like we get to meet the captain of like House 7 and was like, oh, what a fucking insane badass. But there's also just a lot of like, I don't care. The most recent revelation is that we've very quickly found out what is turning people into what some people are turning people into fucking human monsters or whatever on purpose with like a bug. And they need to find out who that is. And then there's also like another like group of like bad guys who dress up in like this complete like white outfits, and they're trying to find out who they are. But turns out that maybe our main character's like brother is still alive.
What the fuck?
By the way, he is. And apparently maybe he's also leading this group of like white dressed guys.
What the fuck?
Which is super strange. And then we see a shot of him, like of these fucking guys in white. They kind of remind me of like the fucking people in Assassin's Creed, you know, like the
the Templar.
Yeah, kind of like the Templar, but like all whited out, right? They're all like standing there, like talking real quick, like what are we gonna do, blah 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 stuff. And then guys like somebody says like, hey, calm the fuck down, like settle else. We're gonna do this and we're gonna do that, blah blah blah. And then we pan up, and it's like this little kid. He's maybe like 10 years old, and it's just like, and he's got like white hair and these red eyes. I'm like, this guy looks like a little badass. Like who? And then he smiles, has sharp teeth. Just, and I go like,
that's
probably the brother.
That's the brother. We did it.
Okay, cool. But I feel like it didn't earn anything. I feel like everything just gets like everything's just given and resolved super quickly. And it's just, I don't know. I had a lot higher hopes for this. Maybe I'll keep watching it just to see the fights and see characters and stuff.
I mean, it sounds like it's all right.
I don't think it's worth, like you asked me, like if it's worth like you binging it or watching it. I don't think you'd enjoy it at all, honestly.
You know, earlier today, I said that I would give somebody a shout out on the topic of maybe you'll keep watching and like binging or whatever. Anyways, I went to go get some coffee today at my local Dutch Bros, and this dude that wasn't even helping me comes up and he's like, "So, Instagram podcast, what's that?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, it's my podcast," and blah blah blah. And then he's like, I just recently got caught up with One Piece. Whoa. Like, what the fuck? This dude's a goddamn champion. He spent a year watching it initially. That was 7 years ago. And he's been continuing watching it ever since. I think that's fucking mind-blowing. He loves it. I feel like it may be Stockholm Syndrome.
I don't know. We talked about it, and I don't think he'd ever dedicate anything like that. Like
you said, think of how many shows you could be watching that you missed out on.
He probably, I mean, if this was the only show he's watching for all his time, like he's missed a lot of other shows. He's like, hey man, now I'm caught up with One Piece. What other anime has been out, like come out in the last 10 years?
Dog, you seen Fairy Tail?
This, you know, I don't want to offend Kate, but if I had to guess, I'm kind of feeling that Fire Force is probably what Fairy Tail's like just like I don't know what it is, something, and this is just me talking out my ass. I've never seen Fairy Tail, never given it a shot, but for some reason
I know nothing about it, but this is what it is.
But for some reason I just feel like it's just not going to be like a good shonen, and there's so many episodes where I'm like, I don't even want to waste my time with it. I'll just let Kate watch it again. That's Fire Force. If you like it or want to watch it, check it out. Don't let me deter you from it. I wasn't the biggest fan. It looks really good, and it, you know, and the style is really cool, and that I'm a fan of. And I like the intro, by the way. Good song.
Yeah, right on. Okay, and I think that we should wrap it up with one fucking rad ass show, the watch of the season, the anime of the year, maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows? Mob Psycho season 2 was pretty good, but O Maidens in Your Savage Season by LaDeuce. They've made Yuru Yuri, Release the Spice, and Our Love Has Always Been 10 Centimeters Apart.
Literally, like, nothing we've actually
cared about
or completely watched. What a... Because if you told me this was done by, like, some studio like KyoAni or, like, Cloverworks, you know, like, style-wise,
like, hell yeah, like, that makes sense. Okay,
yeah, that shit looks bomb.
Guys. It's fucking...
Because I love the way this show just looks in general. Like, I love the style of this thing.
I mean, we know that it can look good. Release the Spice and Our Love Is Only 10 Centimeters Apart.
Visually, nice.
They look really good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This show looks really good. So I totally support that. But then when you throw in how each character, like, there are some shows, watching the new season of anime, there's so many shows that I feel nothing from the characters, and they really have to give it to me. Mm-hmm. There's one show that I already think is going to be the best of the season that immediately I'm like, wow, each character has personality. They've said like one word. Maybe they haven't said anything, and I feel like I already, they have like a whole life. Mm-hmm. Oh Maidens in Your Savage Season, each character is so well fleshed out. They have such a good direction. They know exactly what they want to do in the story, in the grand scheme of everything. Every character makes a specific action and says a certain thing that affects everything else. Yeah. Everything has purpose in this show. And I haven't felt that way with any other show this season. Even with Vinland Saga, I'm like, you know what? Like, I don't know what's going on right now, but like,
that guy killed that guy. It was really cool.
Yeah, whatever. There's some cool stuff. What did that dream mean where he just fucking ignored his dad? That felt like it had no reason, but it was cool.
I get what you're saying. But I'm just, what I was trying to poke at is like, this studio is a studio that, you know, you wouldn't really think about to produce something so great like this.
This isn't, it's just a whole different caliber.
Yeah. It's like me saying like, yeah, man, this show is great. Who does it? Like, I'd have to look up who did it, you know, like.
So, it's a drama. It's essentially about these girls figuring out what it means to them to be the person that they should be, more or less becoming a woman. And the driving backbone of that story is they are in a book club and they are reading literature that deals with sex. And that's not something that they had dealt with before. So they're discovering their own feelings about sex and the different ways to address it for each of their own personal lives. So it's a drama. It's by a studio that we don't really know too well. Orange is a drama by a studio that we didn't really know too well. And we really liked Orange.
Yeah, I liked Orange a lot, yeah. I love oranges.
Oh Maidens in Your Savage Season blows Orange out of the water.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
It's so fucking good, you guys.
It's strange because, you know, I've
It's on High Dive.
It's on High Dive, which is, by the way, fucking Powerhouse of Anime calling it.
Yeah, okay.
So what it is, like, it is a coming of age story, you know, and traditionally coming of age stories, at least the ones that I've seen growing up, have been through the perspective of like a male or a man, you know, something like that.
Usually there are a couple of female, but like it doesn't really.
But the ones that like really resonate, I think for me at least, have been those, right? It's super strange because like this one has to do with, you know, it's a coming of age, but like these women coming into their like their womanhood or whatever. And I'm not a woman by any means,
Hang
right?
on.
I'm not. I checked, and I don't. It feels so right. It feels like it's done so well, and I like, you know, and it's,
you know, as two guys talking about a show all about girls,
yeah,
it feels perfect. I would like any woman to respond that's seen this show, any girl, to let us know if they did spot on, because I feel like they did y'all some rights.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I know. It follows, like we said, like these five girls and they're on the literature club, right?
Yeah.
I think there's one third year, two second years, and two first years at this point,
it's a good
right?
mix.
You know, and they're all going through their own different stuff. Like the third year she's kind of like a homely looking girl. She's all about like being proper and like going to school and studying, and she kind of falls in love with somebody, right? After doing like a
she's like,
change of style.
All men are trash.
You're right.
Into somebody likes me.
And then she's like, ooh. So we get to see her go through her first relationship with this guy who's a really nice guy who I really like.
He's an absolute sweetheart. And he started as a nothing weird character because like, what is he doing with this girl? And then it became, aww.
Yeah.
He loves her.
Yeah, everybody's like talking shit to this girl, and he just kind of offhandedly goes like, really? You guys don't think she's cute? I think she's kind of cute. She's kind of tall and slender like those models. Yeah. You know, kind of reminds me
like this one model.
It reminds me of this one specific model. And she's like, what? And that leads to like a budding relationship, and seeing her have to like mature and grow and be like, you know what? I need to be open about this relationship, and I also can't like hide it from people. Like that was
she's also really smart. Yeah. So she lacks the social skills that other people have,
but she's intelligent.
But she's fucking smart.
Yeah, and it feels really bad because like, you know, the boy that's, you know, crushing on her, it's like he just wants to tell the world he's so proud to be in a relationship with her. Like he likes her that much. And she kind of wants to hide it, and it makes him feel bad. And it was like, yeah. And then, you know, she has to learn and realize that's not fair, you know.
And then I think my favorite thing is she's like, so you guys just need to understand that, you know, you can't treat boys like they're not human.
Yeah.
You know, you have to treat them like they're people too. And everyone's like, yeah, you're the only one that was fucking doing that, you crazy lady.
It's like, yeah, we know
so
that.
Good.
Okay, and so that's like
that's one story.
That's one story, and that's one of the more tamer stories too.
Oh, that's so tame.
I was gonna go from like the third year to the first year, right? I was in that order, but I was like, these next two second year stories are insane. Here we go. Right,
let's go.
So
sign me the fuck up.
One of the second year stories is she's a smaller, more petite like girl. Right, she's not as physically developed as the other ones. Right,
she still looks like a little munchkin.
Yeah, she looks very young for her age. She writes erotic novels. Right, and she's trying to get published. And the publisher keeps sending her notes back being like, this doesn't feel really real. You know, we really want to proceed with working with you because we want it.
We love your writing style.
And I think the real fucking thing that's selling it is like, we want this sexy story to be written by a high school student, right? And like, that's going to be your selling point. That's what's going to get you out
it's
there.
Not just a high school student. It's a girl.
It's a girl, right? So she's trying really hard and she just doesn't really understand how to write about sex because she's never had sex before.
She's never experienced this.
So she, very early in the show, we see that she goes online into like online group messaging boards and she's talking to other people, specifically this one person, and like she does like online kind of like sexting kind of stuff. And at first I was like, that's interesting, right? And then the plot fucking thickens because she wants to meet this person in real life to have sexual relations with him, to better understand what she's writing about.
Yeah.
And when she meets up with him, turns out she knows the person, and it happens to be her like homeroom teacher.
Yeah.
And that just fucking unravels because now this little monster has this secret and she starts blackmailing him into doing stuff that she wants. Like they need a supervisor for their club. She blackmails him into being the supervisor for the club, you know. She like...
It really just skyrockets.
Does a bunch of fucked up shit. Like she like gives him... I think like she like tries to flash him at one point.
But let me just also add, the teacher is fucking shaming her and sassing her the whole time, and he's not like, no. Instead, he's just like, you're not mature enough for me. Prove that you're mature enough. But in like a weird, fucked up, sadistic way.
And this is the thing that you and I were like arguing with about the whole season. We're just like, look, man.
This was the most fucked up story to have an opinion on.
Because I really like this monster of a character.
Yeah, she's amazing.
This little gremlin, right?
She's so good.
She's just trying to improve her writing. And I really like the teacher because he's like, rolling with the punches, being like, all right, you really got me cornered. I'm going to do whatever I can to help you better understand who you are because I know you're going through a bunch of stuff. I'm an adult. It's like, but he also kind of teases her.
And he's kind of into it.
And it kind of feels really inappropriate.
Yeah.
Because it's like, at no point am I ever trying to justify the relationships between a adult man and like a girl who's underage, right?
Yeah,
like at no point I'm like, yeah, they should just fucking get it over with, you know?
But at many points I was like, I kind of want them to fall in love.
Oh my God.
Which was so fucked up. But also you're looking at the story as just two people. One of them just doesn't understand things. The other one is
trying to explain it the best he can.
In also kind of a fucked up, teasy way. Honestly, if they were like, no, nothing, and then got together like a few years down the road, I would be very happy with that.
It culminates, yeah, it does, because like she's technically not that far away from being a legal adult, right? But it culminates to this really intense like scene in a love hotel that fucking blew my mind, right?
I was like, I don't know. Each scene, because they would try to escalate it, it went from flashing into, all right, we're gonna go to a love hotel.
Like they made out at one point, didn't they? Like they kissed or something.
Maybe
I don't know. I think she does do something because like she feels really like sexually charged at one point. She's like, holy shit, I've never felt this before. She starts writing about it.
Yeah. Long story short, each scene I would be like, I don't know what I'm about to see. I don't know if I support it or I hate it, but I need to see it happen. I want something to happen. I want something big to happen.
That love hotel was really good, man. There's like I don't want to spoil it, but it was great.
I highly recommend everyone watches the show.
Sure. So we're gonna move on to her.
We're done with her. Her story's great.
So the next character is also second year. She's very pretty. She's like the pretty one of the group, and she's popular and stuff.
A little bit outcast because she's so pretty and stuff.
Yeah, kind of like you and I in high school.
Yeah, exactly.
Outcast because we're too hot.
Yeah, it was hot. That's what I was.
So her story is way fucked up because she was in a kind of this weird abusive relationship with her acting coach, right?
Yeah.
When she was like younger,
a very young,
like
child.
A girl. Like he kind of groomed her to be like, I don't know, something that he liked. Like he what attracted her what attracted him about her was her youthfulness, and he would never like physically touch her, you know, or like
But he would say some real fucked up shit.
Yeah, exactly. Because he's like
way more than the teacher.
exactly
Like way not
like
okay.
this guy was for sure a skeevy perv.
Yeah, he was like a hair away from being a pedophile.
Like he
was a pedophile.
Yeah, like his justification for shit was like, I'm never gonna touch you, I'll never hurt you, right? Like
because I want you to remain a little girl.
A youthful-
and the
yeah.
second that I would touch
I would steal
you
your
would
youth.
become a woman.
Oh yeah. So like it's
Just a sick way of thinking of things.
so it's really fucked up, this character, and you know, like
God.
she has no real. She's trying to figure out what it is to feel love, right?
Yeah, and connect with people, and she's very brash, and she's okay with.
She's one of the characters
Yeah.
that openly says, "I want to have sex. Like I want to figure this shit out." You know, like
Yeah.
just, and people are just like, what is going on here, right? Her story kind of boils down to her kind of trying to steal the main character's like romantic interest. You know, like she
Yeah.
wants to hook up with, you know, one of the girls from the first year's potential boyfriends because she's attracted to him, and then like that's what she wants, and it's kind of fucked because she tries to make it okay, and she doesn't know what she wants, and she also goes back to this weird acting coach and like talks to him, and they kiss at one point, and then she beats the shit out of him.
Yeah,
it's really strange. I don't really know. Out of all the characters, I feel like I don't know if her growth or if her damage was ever really like completely fixed.
She was involved with a couple of fucked up storylines, which, you know, her acting coach storyline, that could be revealed a little bit, but I feel like her interactions with other characters should be hidden for the time being. She had a lot of fucked up shit to unpack, and I don't think she could do all of it, so she slightly does some of it, but not enough to feel like she's a new person and she's really put that in her past.
Yeah.
She's kind of like, it's part of me and I'm fucked up.
The more, yeah, I think that's what it is. I think, you know, she tries to fix what she can and then like keeps pushing forward, but it's not as clean as some of these other endings where it's like, that feels a little more like whole or whatever.
Which, not to spoil any endings, but there are good and bad.
There's some better endings than others, yeah. So then going on the first years, one of the characters who it took a while for her story to kind of develop, but
she was also a great character from the start, just supportive friend.
Exactly. She's like the main character's best friend, and she's a first year, and she also joined the literature club and stuff, and she ends up getting a boyfriend kind of easily from her like cram school, and like she goes on a few dates, and we see how like she's just not really feeling comfortable with this boyfriend situation. Like she's really confused with stuff, and as the story progresses, we kind of see that she really likes being around her gal pals, whatever. And I mean, I caught it before. I mean, I'm sure you caught it before.
Yeah,
she caught it
like right away.
She's a lesbian, right? She's gay. And
she doesn't realize
she doesn't realize it until she finally realizes, holy shit! Like I like women. Like women are better than men. Like
best lesbian of the season.
Yeah, super great. And then we kind of see her struggle with that, like because she's like, well, all my friends like dudes, you know, and I like my girlfriends, but like they don't like me. Like how do I deal with this? You know?
Yeah, she's super into friendship and super into being around girls. She tries to be with a guy. Not
working yet.
It immediately doesn't work. And I think that's when she really starts putting things together because she's never really considered a relationship until this time, and everyone else is so into it. And she's like, well, I guess I should check it out too because they're all trying it out and whatnot. Did not rest well for her. She did not deal with it well, and her story progresses from there. I love her.
I like her a lot.
She's my favorite character.
Really?
Something about how just simple and kind of human she is.
She feels very real, yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. I was kind of come back to the whole idea that like Japan's not very accepting of like, you know, people who are gay and stuff. God, I really like her girlfriends around her, you know? It didn't seem to be a big deal whenever she kind of like, yeah, man, like, yeah, I fucking like chicks. What's the big deal? It was like, and there wasn't like a big like, oh my gosh, we support you. It was just like, yeah, whatever. It was just like it was an unspoken thing. Like, who gives a fuck? Like, we're still boys, even though we're girls.
Yeah. We boys.
So I like her a lot too. Yeah, and
She's
then
amazing.
The last character who was the last first year was a main character. She has to deal. I feel like she has to deal with.
I mean, she has to deal with some shit, but let's just focus on the very core.
The bulk of it is her having feelings for her neighbor who was what's it called? a childhood friend, right?
Yeah, they were like childhood best friends, been neighbors forever.
And, he's gone on to become very popular, and she's not, and
she used to be bigger than him and stronger and could teach him how to do things.
And now
and at a certain point it switched.
And he's just like a man now, he's a big boy on campus.
She never really put it together too much, but he definitely did.
Yeah, and so she has to deal with her being like, how do I first of all resolve my emotions and my feelings of how I feel about this other person, First she has to come to the terms with the fact that she likes him, right? And then she has to figure out what to do with that, because like, what if he doesn't like her back? What if, there's just all these what ifs. It gets pretty funny because like I think in the first episode she walks in on him.
Yeah, this is how the episode ends, I think.
Like she walks in on him like masturbating because they live next to each other. They get like family friends. She came over to give him food or whatever, and he's like jerking off watching a porn. And she freaks out, right?
Yeah.
And she like runs off, and she's just like overwhelmed by like all this stuff. Like she's like, oh my gosh, like this kid that I knew that's like my good friend and my neighbor and like whatever, like he thinks about sex. Does everybody think about sex?
Right.
Why am I not thinking about sex?
And that one interaction spawns so many different things, like, aw, and also, well, do you think about having sex with me? And he's like, no, never. And she's like, what the fuck? But also, like, I wanted him to say no, but did I want him to say
no? Yeah.
A lot of different feelings, and they do it so well in the show. And they really make her feel like she's just going through her thought process, and you get to see each step of the way, and it feels like something that a real person would do. That's what I love about this show. Everyone feels real, but they also feel like cartoon caricatures of what a real person is.
Yeah.
But like also very like niche specific things. It's such a cool, fun, unique show.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I don't know what it was at first.
God, it was the whole thing.
But by the end of it, I was like, this show fucking rocks. Like
the theme song to the characters, just all feeling alive, to the art, to the very unique story about these characters talking about sex, very ashamed, but also wanting to not be ashamed about it. And that being the focal point of a show. You wouldn't expect it to be that way because Kyle and I lovingly called the show Sex Girls, but it was nothing like a hentai or ecchi type of thing at all.
Yeah.
It was so tasteful.
It was very grounded in reality, essentially. It made me for sure think of youth and be like, oh my God, I remember being like, do I like sex?
Yeah, man, it made me think of you too.
It was great, man. She also goes through a bunch of other stuff because of this one relationship kind of thing, like throughout the entire show. Like she for sure goes through the ringer. I mean, some other characters also have harder times.
There's some shit for each character.
Yeah.
And I love that they all have to deal with these complicated situations that are both isolated and intertwined. The most isolated, which is still like pretty tight to everyone else, is the whole teacher-student thing going on. And the reason it's tied to everyone else is because the teacher is the reason that they're able to still remain a book club because of some weird bullshit
thing.
It's just whatever. It's one of those like Japanese after-school club things that we don't really understand because we don't have certain requirements like that.
Yeah, they needed an advisor. They didn't have an advisor.
We don't even have after-school clubs, so whatever. Anyways,
Japan's way better.
That's how they're tied into that whole plot line. But they had the most isolated story, and yeah, actually, maybe they didn't. Maybe it was the nerdy chick. Maybe hers was the most isolated because she also was the driving force for everything happening in the first place. And then she's the one that came up with the term for sex, sex, Which is a great story plot.
She also deals with like her boyfriend thing kind of separately and comes back and reports to them being like, it's even like when they fucking at the very end when they're like, they come to the school or whatever and like they kind of take it over. She brings her boyfriend and at one point she goes like, you can just leave, you don't actually have to be here.
Fine. Thanks for the support, dude.
Yeah, I feel you, but it's just kind of a girl thing going on right now. And I go, so like, yeah, so maybe that's the most isolated. I don't know, man. It's a great show.
It's tough to say.
It's really surprising because looking at the name, looking at the fucking, the cover art, the intro starting, like, at no point was it going to be like, oh, this show's going to be fucking awesome.
And then by the end of the first episode, you're like, I think this is the best show of the season. Yeah. But I don't know why.
And we're very coyly talking to you, being like, yeah, that Maiden show's like pretty fucking good, right? And you're like, yeah, it's pretty fucking good.
And then by like the second episode, we're like, okay, so like that second episode though, can we just get into why that was so good? And of course, our hype might have been, maybe it wasn't, I don't know, toned down on the podcast. But this was by far the best show, and I looked forward to it more than anything else each week.
Yeah.
It's one of those shows that I would recommend to so many people of all different kinds of ages, because coming of age stories are really personal when you're that age, when you're still a teenager and you're going through those changes. It feels really personal. And then as an adult, you're like, yeah, I went through something similar. I get that. My friends have been through stuff like that. I've heard it.
I remember that fucking nerd. I'm an adult now. I don't have to worry about that shit.
Yeah,
I came of age.
It's wild. So O Maidens in Your Savage Season is the one show that you should really watch from last season. It's spectacular. You could watch it all on High Dive. It's worth getting just for that, and there's so much more on High Dive.
For sure, yeah. So I mean,
this episode's been sponsored by High Dive. No, it hasn't, but I would fucking love it. That would be cool.
Powerhouse of Anime. Yeah, I would say this is probably my favorite show this season. That being said, there wasn't the most amazing lineup this season, but this show was also very good.
Yeah,
I think that's it, right? I think that's it. That's all the shows.
We've talked for a long time now. Next episode, we're going to talk for maybe just as long, maybe longer, who knows, maybe shorter, but I doubt it, because we're going to be reviewing at least the first episode of every legally streamable show of this season.
That's Crunchyroll, that's Funimation, that's Amazon Prime, that is High Dive, and maybe Hulu has an exclusive, air quotes, boom, got him.
Then that's the thing with Funimation too, is that some things like will suddenly just appear on other stuff, and that's just the way it goes.
But those are the streaming sites we use to watch anime legally here in the States. There's other shows, like we said, that are airing currently in other parts of the world on Netflix that we won't get until it's completely done, because Netflix just doesn't want to learn.
Nope.
But next week we're going to be in the preview. Should be fun. Hopefully we can find some gems like, O Maidens.
I feel like there's also going to be some special stuff.
There's also some sequels and stuff that we're looking forward to. So.
I feel like those are going to be special too.
Cool, man. Okay, so if you like the logo, hit up Aaron from TurbyTops.com. If you like the theme song, check out Tom Nasser on SoundCloud and YouTube. Trip, where can we find us?
You can find us on Facebook. Look up the Instant Ramen Podcast. Same thing goes for Instagram. Look up the Instant Ramen Podcast. You could go ahead and tweet at us at Instant Ramen Pod.
100% of it.
And you could shoot us an email, instantRamenPodcast@gmail.com. If you are a girl or a woman or whatever, you're just a nice lady, tell us what you thought of O Maidens in Your Savage Season, because, whew, baby, it was choice as a guy. I feel like those two perspectives are important. Anyways, thank you guys so much for listening. I'm excited to talk to you next week.
This is Bad from Juan.
I'll see you around from Chris.
Hey, Trip, don't forget.
Just add hot water.